Testicles.
Great.
Oh, cancelled. Yeah, that was technically it. It was good the first time.
The first one wasn't bad. The second one was worse.
Cancelled.
You're only making it worse.
Just start rattling it off.
Just get it out.
Just start rattling it off.
And
what was that?
Drop off. Is it a
what?
Drop off. Car.
Drive by?
Yeah. is it a no cursing podcast now?
No,
for
just
the first couple minutes.
You're supposed to not for the first couple minutes, and I've already ruined it. But let's try not to. Maybe they missed it. Maybe we weren't.
You're only making it worse was used many times at the weekend.
Maybe we weren't actually live.
How's everyone doing audio wise? I feel like that's a little loud.
I'm good.
For me.
I'm a little loud.
I'm Gucci.
You are? How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ronan, you good?
Yeah, I need to make this a bit higher.
Yeah. Be careful.
No touchy?
I don't know if that one works well.
No touchy.
It might.
We never have to. Well, Ryan was there perfectly fine a couple weeks ago.
Just swing it out towards you. Is that tilted up towards you? See if that helps.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the whole thing up so I could sit up here and
Yeah, I mean, you could try it.
Grab the clip and twist it. The old clip twist.
There's been voice scripts on that, so that's not.
Oh, is there?
Oh, yeah. Just leave it alone. All right. Oh, we got a few peoples in here already, huh?
I don't know why.
Hi.
Yo, did you see the girl that did the anthem last night came out and said she was blackout drunk?
Really?
She's like, so yeah, I screwed up. I was really drunk and probably shouldn't have gone and done it. I'm checking myself into rehab today.
Oh, well, good for her.
Did you hear it at the home run derby?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How
could you not?
We were watching it live, and Steph looked up from her book and was like, what is that?
What is going on?
Didn't she also say she ripped a vocal cord?
No, she just said she was drunk.
Noah
she
Kyle looks weird today. What? Why do I look weird? I don't look weird. I'm in my same seat.
Probably because Ronan's placed in front of you.
Yeah, wait now.
No, you can see me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, man. Tim Connor's in the chat. I love you.
Tim's the hero we needed.
He is the hero. We could have used you.
I'm kind of jealous of the shirt I bought him.
Could have used you in Pennsylvania last night. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's not the only AC I broke.
I will say though that
actually that is the only AC broke. I didn't break the one at home. It's just when it's involved with me, they break.
I will say after trying that little Harbor Freight fan that Ace had, I'm gonna go buy like 4 of those.
Dude, that thing cranks.
That thing ripped. He said it was like $20.
Yeah, we were using it during the Cup race
Yeah, you guys were sitting. You guys were sitting under the tent with it going during the races.
It was really good.
But even not under a tent, we brought it over and turned it on, and I was like, wow.
Alrighty. Woo! All right, you want to do this?
Hold on, I'm posting.
Oh, don't drop that. Dun, dun, dun.
Have that stuck in his head all night now.
Yeah.
I have one of those fans as well, Tim.
Those things are sweet. Okay.
Bet they're more than $20 this week.
Oh, yeah. It told me how many people were watching before.
7
we got
11 right now.
Yeah, we've peaked at like 20 before, so we kind of suck right now. We got to pump those numbers up.
Oh.
I think the most we've ever had is like 20.
That sounds about right. All right.
Hold on.
Everett. That's a Ford Maverick. Oh, everything still hurts.
Of course, I had to go work at a friggin' hot elementary school today because you know how that works in the summer. They just shut everything off. And it was like I walked into one of the rooms that had a thermometer in the corner, and it was like 86 in the room at 8 o'clock this morning. I was like, "This is gonna be great."
Oh.
Luckily, heat rises and you work on the floor. So
Nope, I was doing. What are you talking about? I work on ceilings.
I know that was the joke.
Jackass.
I'm going to put this in the old power save mode because I probably should have charged my phone on the way down. Okay.
Why would you not charge? Why would you not just plug your phone in on the way down?
I don't, because it's got the wireless CarPlay now. So like,
Oh, I do it in my truck all the time. I forget.
I have the charge pad and multiple fast
The
chargers.
charge
plugged
pad
in.
in my truck sucks. I can never
Yeah,
get it to
mine's
hook
terrible.
up right.
Oh,
Even-
it works. It's just slow.
It doesn't do anything. And then I always forget. I'll just get in the truck with my phone in my pocket, and everything's working. So I'm like, I did it. I don't think I charged it halfway to Pocono, and then I was like, I should probably plug that in because I've just been using it all day.
Yeah.
Probably just plug that in.
Yeah. All right. Ready to rock and roll?
Almost. Hold on.
I think
Give me a combo before we
rock
pop
and
this thing
roll.
off. We're eating combos. We're trying to, get healthy again.
Why'd you open it at the bottom, you freaks?
'Cause
Canceled.
If you open it at the top, the little pinhole always rips. And it won't open straight the whole way.
If Ronan shares our story, then maybe half the people he wanted him to bring you back to Ireland with him will start watching the YouTube.
Hey.
What was it? What would the girl say? Who's that? Can you bring him home with you?
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a request to mule me back to Ireland.
You're small enough. You'll fit in cavities.
It's 11:15 at home. Everyone's
Don't tell everybody. It's perfectly average.
No, I just meant you as a whole
on the whole.
and your whole.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not.
His entrance?
Want to make that go away? Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good
Why
thing.
is it hot in here again?
It's always hot in here.
Because you're in here.
It's like stagnant. We need that Harbor Freight fan. You know how nice a fan would be in here?
Yeah.
Even just
It
a little
sounds
one.
great on the microphone.
Well, no, like set it over there just to like move some air around.
Is there any fan outside?
Act like I'm not going to go look real quick.
Yeah.
I'm texting Josh.
Texting him asking for a fan.
Well, the thermostat, he might be able to do the remote thing. I just don't want to touch stuff. My voice is like 90% back, but not all the way back.
Tim Connor's offering up an M18 fan. It's not like he already gave free clothing.
That was M12, so it's different.
Still in the shop than it is in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, there's nothing. I can sit here with an air compressor and just kind of.
We'll see. All right. Glad I'm wearing pants because I'm hot.
I mean, it's 95 degrees outside. Pants are probably a bad
Why would
idea.
you wear pants on a day like
Well,
that?
it worked.
He said he was going to take them off, but he went commando, so he can't.
You obviously changed out of your work clothes.
Yeah, but I only brought a
T-shirt
shirt and shoes.
Why don't you change at your house?
I didn't go home.
No, I picked him up at the train station.
Why don't you plan ahead and bring shorts?
I forgot.
Well, we just cut your pants.
No, these ones actually are new. I've got too many.
Why don't you just take them off? It's not like we're on camera or anything. It'd be like every
Live
one of your-
stream changed.
It'd be like every one of your Zoom meetings. Just business up top.
Ronan
casual
will just
down
cover
below.
up your bottom for us, so no one else has to see it.
And cover up your bottom.
Okay. Why, no?
Why no?
Get some fresh dungarees.
Open a window.
He's got it.
What?
The T-step.
Oh, is he going
Oh,
to
it's
turn
gonna
the
get
AC on
cold
for
in
us?
here.
I want it to be cold.
This is the surface of the sun to me.
I don't know how you survived today. It was ridiculous outside.
I was inside.
True. Good point.
Me and Bodie had cuddles on the couch and had a nap.
That's what I did when I got home at like 12:30. I finished what I was doing today and then went back to the shop. And they're like, you want to go anywhere else? I'm like, no. I'm like, you hear my voice? Does it sound like I want to go anywhere else? I went home and passed out for like an hour.
I never set an alarm clock at Pocono. I just had one every morning. It was a cold nose to my cheek from Rocco.
He'll do that too.
Yeah.
There's worse alarm clocks.
Your cold nose to my cheek? And
Be my warm tongue.
and it's not the cheek in my face.
Oh, yeah, he's just got to make sure that you're alive.
He said you should be able to adjust the thermostat. It's not letting him do it remotely.
Okay, come on.
Okay. Anyway, we ready to rock and roll? We'll wait for Dan to get back.
It said it's 64, but it's saying it's 77.
That sounds about right.
So we'll see what it says. In 2+ hours, it might be 64.
Warm.
Just in time for us to end.
So we'll see.
What's that in
happens.
metric?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
I
in-
only speak bald eagle.
I only
sir.
speak freedom units.
Yeah. The fuck is a
Fuck
kilometer?
is a kilometer.
All right.
What did you say it is right now?
It says it's 77 in here.
We just needed to get like an app because we did this all weekend.
Oh, really?
25 degrees, which is the hottest summer day we
Ronan, that's inside.
Yeah.
Outside is still like 95.
Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Sure.
Thank you, Rona. There's no way I was doing that.
I wasn't even paying attention.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of the Loose is Fast podcast, your podcast home for all things NASCAR and some things not. I'm Kyle Belcher and joined, as always, by Daniel Walker.
So is Lee B.
Norman Pelletier.
Kick him out of NASCAR.
And from all the way across the pond, everyone's favorite, Ronan Hickey.
You're only making it worse.
On today's episode, we will talk some NASCAR news, recap our fun-filled weekend at Pocono, answer some questions, try to survive. But before we get into that and all of the fun, Dan,
Nope.
give them a quick version of the read because we're all tired.
Revivalmotoring.com/B4B. Norm, what's that stand for?
Bucks of the boys.
Bucks for the Boys. That's the thing where you go donate and we can keep all these lights on and Josh cleaned the bugs out of the lights so they're working even better now.
Nice.
That is our value for value system. You can donate every month. You can go do $2, $5, $10, $20, or a combination of any of those to make a number you like. That helps us keep this ship somewhat afloat, even though it's taking on water, especially on Sunday morning.
Oh, we'll get to that.
You call that a storm? You can also donate if you want to do a one-time donation. You can donate at PayPal. That is info@revivalmotoring.com. That is also the home of Kyle's Race Day Challenge. Kyle, what is that?
Race Day Challenge is if you donate the dollar amount that matches the driver's number on Sunday, and you guess correctly, we'll send you a little something, something. Big shouts to Coleman Wilson for the Denny attempt. Probably one of the smartest picks you could have made.
Missed it by a buck.
I'm sure
Missed
Joe
it by one.
I'm sure Joe did the $1 bet.
He did.
He keeps saying he does. We're just not
did.
mentioning it anymore because he does it every week.
Yep.
And
Thank
he doesn't
you.
deserve any recognition after what he did to us this weekend. He does not deserve any. He deserves federal charges.
Yeah.
That man's a national treasure.
And keep an eye out for some upcoming things that we got working.
What do we have? Those things.
Stuff that we talked about earlier. Maybe some ways to wear the logo pretty soon. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that. Get hyped.
Go leave us reviews on Apple. We don't have any new ones. Go leave 5 stars on Spotify. It's the only button that works.
Yep. Doesn't work.
What else do we have? Share the images tomorrow. Share us around. Make somebody listen to us. Tie them down. Leave them in your basement. I don't care.
Yeah, just probably not this episode because we're tired. We're just
Yeah.
going to recap how much fun we had.
Yeah.
This episode will be a little different as we typically do our news. We do the race recaps, our thoughts and feelings, whatever.
Our thoughts and prayers.
But obviously we were at Pocono for the last few days. It is nice to be inside for a little bit. We're all trying to survive here. So we're going to do our news as we normally do, and then we're just going to recap our weekend day by day.
Are you going to do any callbacks?
Tell some stories. For callbacks, yeah, we'll do our basic callbacks.
We have to do race picks.
That's the only one.
Okay. I'm not gonna do.
Reason I said that.
Yo, what the fuck?
You're cutting Norm's segment out.
No, we're doing that too. Reason I said that is because we
Did you
don't
guys see
have
Zane
TV.
Smith's car this week?
We don't have TV ratings because we did
them
both last week.
Yep, you're right.
So we'll just get right into it, and we will start with our race picks.
Shit, look at this.
So, calling back to our race picks from last weekend, I chose Mr. Ty Gibbs, which was a great pick until it wasn't. Dan picked Kyle Busch, which is a terrible pick, and at no point did it get any better.
It wasn't a good pick from Saturday morning.
when I had the scanner on Sunday, and like Kyle Busch's car is just getting pushed out of tech, and it's like 10 minutes to grid. I was like, well, that's not
when
good.
we were in the media center on Saturday, and they're like, Kyle Busch is having power steering problems. I was like,
Is
how we're gonna do this week?
They're interviewing Kyle Busch in the media center. I walk over there, so I'm in the scrum just listening or whatever, and he basically says the car's not good. And I go back to Dan, who's sitting in our seats, and I was like, not looking good for you, pal.
Well, they were even saying it during practice, like the broadcasted practice. That
Yeah, but hearing it
he
from
had
the
no
horse's
power
mouth
steering,
too,
yeah.
you're like, oh, when he says it, it's even worse. That gives the win by default to Norman Pelletier, who chose Kyle Larson, who finished 14th, 13th,
with the most mediocre Pocono run of his life.
Yeah.
I would have taken him getting wrecked by Denny racing for the win over this race.
Yeah. Yep.
Like he never even tried.
I felt
he
like
got screwed in that speeding penalty, but he was like a 5th place car all day anyway.
Things looked great for me until Ty Gibbs blew up.
Made milkshakes.
Made some milkshakes
Bro,
out
you
the
made
pipes.
milkshakes.
That car was fast. He did really well. Qualified on the pole. I'm like, hell yeah. Didn't pan out.
It was funny watching you actually cheer for Gibbs.
Yeah, it was a real quiet
That was
cheer.
one of the reasons why I saved Kyle Larson for so long, because I was like, I want to at least pick somebody at the race I'm going to enjoy watching, like Josh Berry at New Hampshire. I was like, I have no problem rooting for Josh Berry at New Hampshire because I'm seeing that in person. So I'm like, I'm saving him for New Hampshire. And then same with Pocono. I was like, I don't want to be rooting for Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin at Pocono. I want to root for Kyle Larson at Pocono.
I tried to go with the intelligent one because I need the points to get away from you, but it did not pan out for me.
I went for the guy who has had really stupid luck at Pocono, like winning a race with one gear.
Apparently can't without power
Came
steering.
without power steering or brakes. I think they said in another show he lost his brakes at one point
that
too.
was Austin.
Austin Dillon.
I mean, you almost lucked out because he, once again, didn't have high gear for some reason.
True. He
Yep.
couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Yep. Can't find him, grind him.
Last time he missed a shift at Pocono, he won. So, I mean, that should have worked out for you.
It didn't work
You would
out this
think.
time.
You would think. But that brings the score to 13 points for me. Norm, one behind, catching up with 12 points, and Dan bringing up the caboose with Quattro. So we have to pick for the Brickyard this upcoming weekend on the 30th anniversary of the Brickyard. I'm taking
All right, why are you going first?
because I finished last.
No, Kyle Busch wrecked out before Ty Gibbs.
before Ty Gibbs blew up.
Ty Gibbs blew up before Kyle Busch wrecked out. I just looked.
Oh, I thought it was the next
I
restart.
thought I thought I was dead last. All right.
Nope.
I swear
I
Kyle
swore to
Busch's
God,
wreck was before
I
that.
swore that Gibbs
You are
wrecked.
correct. I am wrong.
Yeah, I was like, I know that because Ty Gibbs blew up on one of the restarts.
Vindication!
Dan, you're up.
All right, I am going with the prophecy. 1994 Brickyard
You
400
son
winner,
of
the
a bitch.
24. 2004 Brickyard 400 winner, the 24. 2014 Brickyard winner, the 24. The 2024 Brickyard 400 winner will be the number 24 car driven by William Byron.
You're a piece
You know
of
what's
shit.
funny? I saw so many
You were going
memes
to take
today.
him?
I said it.
He already has.
Oh, I didn't even hear you. I didn't even hear you say it.
Oh, I didn't hear him say
I was
that.
too busy arguing with you.
I saw so many memes that like we're hyping up the return to the Brickyard only for this bozo to win it. It was a picture of William Byron.
The prophecy will become true.
Yay.
I didn't even, Kyle, I honest to God, I was already thinking that all day, and I didn't hear you say it.
Give me Josh Berry. I hate you.
I was very torn between two drivers. One, Chase Briscoe home track. And he wants to win here so bad, but I just have no faith in them.
Beer.
I'm going with a repeat winner, even though it's a different layout. I'm going with Mr. Michael McDowell here.
I like that.
For some reason, when I made all these picks weeks ago, he felt so right at this track, and
like
I've been
that.
questioning it ever since.
I don't like
Lot
that
of
Berry
fours.
pick at all. Just figured I'd trust Rodney on that one.
A lot of fours.
Yep. I kind of wish I didn't make that pick.
Too late.
Can I change it?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
It's going to cost you.
Do I want Barry or Bubba?
I feel like the Toyotas
I don't-
might be good.
I don't think either of those guys are really like.
I'm not excited
High
about
on
I
my
either
think
one of
list.
them.
you're. I think you're.
I was
like-
saving Byron for this for a
I
reason.
think you're like 1A, 1B there. Like you're not that much of a difference between either of them. So you have to look at what else you could use them for, and where you.
I'm gonna give you a piece of advice here. I don't think we're gonna be passing a lot of people at this track.
Yeah.
Who do you think would qualify better?
probably Barry.
Who do you think brings a faster car? Rodney Childers or Booty Barker?
I'm also going to give you a little.
I picked him because of Rodney. I'm not picking him because I have faith in him.
Right.
I also don't. want to give you any advice, but remember, we have Michigan coming.
Yeah, I'll stick
Bubba's,
with Barry.
Toyotas
I'll
will
stick
probably
with
be
it.
fucking hot there.
Ronan, for your second celebrity pick of the season.
Wait, who is he already picked? Let me check.
Truex.
You've already picked Kyle Larson, so you cannot pick Kyle Larson
I thought he
again.
picked Truex.
No, he picked Larson.
Larson.
Dakota.
Truex.
Okay.
We were only talking on the way down. The last time they raced here, it was Truex and Bush every restart.
I just heard the door.
Yeah,
Are
it's
we
a
getting
drop-off.
attacked?
I hope we're getting attacked. That'd be awesome.
Yep. All right. So that locks it in. The race picks for the Brickyard. I have Mr. Josh Berry. Dan stole it. William Byron didn't really steal it. You should have gone first. It's my fault. And Norman Pelletier chooses Mr. Michael McDowell. And the celebrity pick goes to Martin Truex Jr. by Mr. Ronan. Lock him in. And now we get into everyone's or no one's, not quite sure yet, favorite callback segment of the week, and that is Norm's Scheme of the Week.
I got to go like really baritone this week because I can't hit the high notes.
Why?
Name of singer gone. Why your voice?
Well, apparently
Barry Manilow.
Schneid Twain.
Oh, yeah.
Pocono
It's her
ones
fault.
She ruined my
aren't
voice.
quite all up yet, but whatever. All right.
Peaches.
What is it going to, Norm?
I think it's between two cars.
Okay. What's it? The first one.
Although Boot Barn car looks really good. 7 car.
Start with the 7. Okay. Down to the 7.
Pursuit of Paris or Parody in Paris scheme.
Parody in Paris.
I just fucking love the colors.
It
It was sharp.
Dude, in person, the colors on that thing were sick.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's a cool cause. I just don't know it. We looked it up when they announced this because we're like, this is a weird sponsor.
It's got something to do with like women's
yeah,
sports.
it's all about like pay at the Olympics, I think.
Yeah.
Very cool scheme, but because I didn't give it to him last week, I'm going to have to give it to him this week, Mr. Ross Chastain with the peaches.
Ross Chastain with the old party and peach.
I'm just surprised this is the first picture I've ever seen of this car. Like, I haven't seen any other pictures of this car
No one has
yet.
ever sent us any angles of these cars.
So, like, this is really the first time I feel like I'm seeing it, and I like it a lot.
That's an inside joke for those not in the Discord.
Great
like
looking scheme. It was sharp. I do
together.
like the all the videos and reels and stuff they were making of Ross Chastain
the
eating
upset
peaches, like
watermelon.
hiding. Yeah, they cheesy but funny. I'll give him
Yeah.
credit.
Did you guys ever get a chance to watch the SVG Wendy's commercial thing?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Office. That was wicked funny after Chicago.
Dan, did you have anything that stood out to you? Any
Go through them
favorites?
because I don't remember half of them.
I don't think there were a lot of
There
new
wasn't a
ones.
lot of crazy. Zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It wasn't letting me. Oh, because I'm not clicked on it. I'm just scrolling over it.
Gotcha. There you go.
And I don't think anything jumped out to me outside of the one.
The 1 and the 7 were like two of the ones that I did not like.
Okay.
This dude downgrade
The
every
Mavis
single
scheme
time.
needs to stop going downhill.
I'm going to disagree because I thought it was really unique that the flat black and the gloss tealish color.
I
I,
just
thought
don't
that
like
was pretty
how I
sharp.
thought the original Mavis car that was all teal looked great. Now it just looks like they've been replacing
Yeah, the
body
all
panels
teal with
on
like
it.
the tire tracks on it.
Yeah.
And
It's starting to look like a backup car.
starting to look like a backup
it
car.
looks like a late model when they just do mismatched bumpers.
Keep going.
Yeah.
But I was like silently hoping for Denny to win this race, so they would change that scheme.
Kind of
again
dig the
because it
high
was
heat
so bad.
car. Not gonna lie, not a big real
It
flame
looked,
guy,
the
but
numbers looked so good in person.
It looked good on the track.
Yeah, it
it was
looked
the only
cool.
one that you saw the whole pack. You knew where the 24
absolutely.
was.
I'm not a fan. I've said it before. Real flames, but dude, the dark flames with the just bright yellow numbers look so good.
They said it on the MRN broadcast when they were doing the fun, like, in between race calling and they're bantering back and forth. One of them said it. They're like, boy, those yellow numbers bring back memories, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
the gunk scheme.
The gunk scheme was really cool. Michael McDowell in 34.
They ran it a couple times in the 78, and it looks so good every time.
Yeah.
go back up. I want to. We highlighted this in person. I love when they do the Haas tooling scheme on whichever car runs it. How the silver almost looks like polished, like brushed aluminum.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like brushed. They
It
started
looks
that
sick.
with Cole Custer when he
It's almost like a Haas machine finish.
when we were sitting,
right, but it was always red, and then with
Yeah.
Suarez, it was like a weird camouflage they did.
When
I
we-
loved the Kurt Busch ones. Where
Yeah,
it was
but-
half Haas, half Monster. Those looked really
when we were standing in the garage and that got rolled by us and the sun was hitting the silver. It was like, oh, that
Even
looks
that
really
picture
cool.
shows
You can
it
see it in
really
that
well.
picture. Yeah.
Yep.
Crap.
Yeah.
44.
The
looked really
45 was pretty good. The money line, it's so simple that
There's
it
no
works.
paint scheme, but it just looks good.
Oh, what am I talking about? That's my scheme of the week.
Best Bubs?
Because doggies.
Bowman's.
And on the back it says
Best
bring
friends.
Zoomies home.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Anything jump out to you, Ronan?
Martin
19
Truex driving a
probably.
Kyle Busch car.
Yeah, the
It looked
interstate
good.
batteries.
It looked good, but it just I
I
can't.
hate that. I hate it.
Yeah, it bothers me that it's exactly the same across. I understand why they do it.
Rotating sponsors is fine, but like change them up.
Yeah,
Honestly, I like it the most on Ty Gibbs because they add all the black for the monster.
Yeah.
It looks way better.
yeah, I like that too. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
Seabell was in that race. Jesus, I didn't even remember him.
Yeah,
He wasn't
right?
like super slow. He was like top 5.
I know he
thought,
was there, but I'm like, I don't remember even noticing his car at all.
Yeah, he was
weekend.
just quietly hanging out. All right, so that does it. Norm's scheme of the week goes to the Busch Light Peach #1 of Ross Chastain. All right, we're obviously not going to do off track because we were all in track
The whole
together.
fucking weekend was
So
off track.
we'll do news and then we will talk about our weekend.
Breaking news.
The news. There's no high notes today, boys.
Ronan's got you.
Thank you, Ronan.
Newsflash: we are all dead.
I
You know, like the post crazy weekend anxiety. Like, what did I do and
I don't
why
have
did
that.
I do it? Oh, I get that.
See,
Like, what did I do? Why did I do it? And I'm paying for it.
this is just what happens after spending the weekend around loud generators, loud race cars, loud music,
Oh, people.
Being outside
being outside,
20 hours of the day.
yelling at each other. Like it
Yeah.
just happens to me having it loud. And Pocono was always way worse though for some reason. But
Yeah. Well, it's longer too.
yeah. So it's just I lost my voice. I woke up Saturday morning and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. And we'll get into all that. But we'll start with the news. We will start with some of the big news. We got some pretty solid news this
A
week.
lot of news this week.
Let's start with the Front Row Motorsports news. Front Row Motorsports announces officially that Noah Gragson will be joining the team for 2025. No announcements of sponsorship stuff or a number or anything like that, but we do know that Noah Gragson will be heading to Front Row Motorsports.
Thank you, sweet baby Jesus. He stayed away from RCR.
Yep.
Best landing spot for him, I think.
Which I thought was obviously I thought that was the best move. Like we've talked about this a couple of times, but with whatever Austin Dillon was saying, like, oh, big changes coming to the team, whatever. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, same.
Oh no.
Right, but they said something. I think it was DBC was like, he was talking to Austin Dillon, and Austin Dillon said they're looking to sign a big name driver, but not who we're expecting. And obviously, everyone was kind of expecting Noah Gragson,
Right.
which leads me to think, who could it be? Like, obviously, Joey Logano's not going on to RCR. Chase Elliott's not going to RCR. So who could that be alluding to? I don't know yet. But it's crazy to think that we are thinking and speaking that Front Row is a better option than RCR.
Yeah.
Front
what a world.
row.
We were talking about that at the track, right?
The last time
you said that at the track, didn't you?
The last time RCR won a championship, Front Row probably was the first car out of that race to start in park.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I think they started around like 06, 07.
Yeah. Probably tracks.
So it's crazy to me that the team that was a start and park car is now has a bigger ceiling than RCR.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's cool. I thought that was super cool. They
Oh,
also
four.
said that they are not glued to their numbers or something along those lines because they're like, is he going to be in the 34? Or are you guys going to bring back the 26, I think, was another option. And they're like, we're not glued to our numbers.
They had the 98. They had the 96 for many years. Oh,
First
my God.
picture I've seen of the 34, which is like obviously their flagship car now, and that's when they started the font, was like 07.
I'm looking at their Wikipedia page, like the list of, finishes and stuff like that. I'm just trying to find like their first top 20.
It probably was David Gilliland.
John Andretti in 09 Daytona finished 19th.
Yeah. But it's just
Counts.
crazy. I'm super happy they announced this.
And then New Hampshire.
They still have a third car that's unspoken for because they did announce they were buying a third charter from Stuart Haas.
Right.
They haven't announced that yet. We don't know who's going to end up over there. Could be Ryan Preece, Harrison Burton. I mean, there's a couple guys that are still in the Cup Series that don't have rides next year.
Yep.
Or are they bringing up another driver from the Xfinity Series to take that ride? I heard Sam Mayer's name get thrown around. I think that would be a mistake.
Right.
I think there's better options, more mature options, but he could come up if he has money behind him. Riley Herbst is a big guy everyone's been talking about, but it seems like he's bringing a charter. He's the one that everyone says he's attached to a charter.
At 2311, from what I'm hearing.
The 2311
Yep.
connection there. Although I think a Riley Herbst and Noah Gragson team up would be really good social media.
Yeah.
They would have a lot of fun with that.
Strong for marketing purposes.
But that would make that a super young team.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, that's
right
true.
now they don't really have an older option.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of veteran presence options out there. I don't know of too many that are on contract years.
Yep.
So we'll see. But I think it's a great landing spot for it. I mean, we talked about it countless times. I'm just happy to see it come to fruition, actually.
Yeah.
Any other bits to add to that? Nothing? Keep moving? Happy about it?
No,
Stoked?
it's cool. Like I said before, I hope they change their number fonts. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Because I am so sick of them.
All right. Moving on. The next bit of news, which has been talked about quite a bit, the other hottest free agent, if you will, Mr. Rodney Childers, is officially going to Spire Motorsports to crew chief for Corey LaJoie in the number 7.
It was crew chiefing the 7, and everybody was losing their mind because it didn't say Corey LaJoie until you actually opened the article, and it said Corey LaJoie for 2025.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was super weird.
Added to.
Corey is obviously, I'm pretty sure he has like a pretty long-standing contract over there.
Yeah.
And you don't expect him to move out of that seat or that number 7 and say put Michael McDowell in there. I don't think that's going to happen. But I thought that was interesting when they announced the 7. And they did a whole press conference, but Corey wasn't present for any of
The only
it.
part of the entire thing that was released by Spire that said Corey's name on it was the actual press release. If you clicked on the link and you went to the website, in the first paragraph, it said Corey LaJoie in the 7 car for 2025.
Yeah, so I just thought that, I think they were just trying to make it
About
Rodney.
Rodney.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I liked everything Rodney said during the press release. Claire B. Lang interviewed him. She had some great snippets from that. She's awesome. And Rodney's pretty much, I think he had other options. He had other offers for sure. But I think this was, I could see myself running this team. I can't go over to Hendricks, go over to JGR, go over to 2311 and run those teams.
Yeah, more control.
But from what everyone's saying, he still definitely wants to crew chief. Like, that's his goal.
They were saying on TBC today that he had there's been rumblings that he had offers to go like be general manager of teams, and he was like, I want to be on the pit box. I want to be winning races.
Yeah, he still had. He said he wants another championship. He wants another Daytona 500. There was like a list of things that were like still on his bucket list. So I mean, I'm excited to see it. Obviously, we've talked on here many times that we are Corey fans, and I think this is now. You have no more excuses. You know,
It's better chance
Spire
of getting a 500 with Corey than a championship, anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Let's hope.
But this is funny because last week when when we were talking about the news of Josh and Josh going to the 21 and Rodney seemingly wasn't going with him because that's 21's overshadowed by Penske, so they have a lot of in-house talent they'd rather kind of sift through before taking an outside guy and somebody else losing their job. And something I was thinking about was my dream landing spot for Rodney would be crew chief in Corey's car, because I've been very vocal, especially on Discord and stuff, that I think the biggest problem with the 7 car is the crew chief.
Yep.
I like Sparks. Sparks is a super cool, super smart guy. I don't think he's an A-level crew chief, not to mention they were talking about this week. He's doing multiple different jobs at Spire right now. He is the shop foreman, manager, competition director, and he's also the crew chief on the 7 car.
Yeah. Almost
So
like he's pulled in too many different directions.
He's now able to just focus on being a competition director, and they could have a sole crew chief on that 7 car. I think this is best case scenario for Corey, obviously, but I think it's gonna make everybody at Spire better.
Yeah.
Because it gives them a flagship car to follow. Where right now we've talked about the 71. Who knows who the hell's telling them what to do? The 7 car has always been attached to Hendrick, but the 77 seemingly isn't. The 71 obviously had affiliation with Trackhouse. Now, if they're all under the same roof, they're all being pulled in the same direction, they're all getting information from the same direction, I think that helps everybody.
Yeah.
And especially when you get a crew chief that can read and sift through data as good as anybody with Rodney Childers. And I've said it before as well, that I think Corey's biggest detriment to himself is they unload 10 spots worse than he wants to be, with speed, and he tries to make that up as a driver.
Well, it's like I've been telling people too, is it's all this giant snowball with how NASCAR currently works. You have a shit finish last week. You're going to go into this week with the whole metric thing that they deem to, where you're going to qualify. Mm-hmm. You get an early draw in qualifying. It's already been shown that the earlier you go in qualifying, the worse you're going to be.
Yep.
The fastest cars usually end up, the fastest times usually end up towards the end as the track gets rubbered up or warmed up, whatever you want to call it. So it's a snowball effect. You have a shit week the week before. Now you've got a bad qualifying metric spot. Now you're going to qualify like crap. Now you're going to be fighting it all race. If it's track position race like this week was, now you're fighting for every tooth and nail. Then you're, like you just said, Corey's going to be pushing it to try to make something happen. And then something's going to happen, or you're going to wreck the car, or you're going to speed on pit road or whatever. Now you've got another bad finish. Now you're going to start the whole process over again next week. And it doesn't seem like they unload with any kind of speed.
Right.
So if they can,
they're constantly go uphill.
It's a constant uphill battle. If all that changes next year is they show up with better prepared cars with better setups and more speed, then you're going to be able to practice. You're not going to be concentrating on getting the car drivable. You're going to be able to do tire runs and see what tire wear looks like and whatever. Then you'll
be able to fine tune.
You'll be able to fine tune.
Throw the
kitchen sink
book at it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then,
good point.
Then you'll be able to. You'll probably. If you have good finishes, then you'll be qualifying better. Now, instead of qualifying in 27th, you're qualifying in 12th or 11th. You get a better pit draw. You get a better starting spot. Now you're not fighting just to get into the top 20. Now you're like, all right, cool. We can fight to get to the top 10.
Yeah, now we fight to maintain a top 20,
exactly.
not claw into
exactly. And that's going to I think that's going to change. Corey won't be over driving like we've seen him do so much this year because he's trying to compensate for whatever shit setup they brought.
Yeah.
And I hate, and that's why I kind of steered away from mentioning it, is I hate dogging Sparks.
I do as well.
I think Sparks is a great guy. He's super cool, obviously very smart, but I don't think he's an A-level crew chief. Like we've talked about, Carson unloads with better speed 9 out of 10 races a year. And Carson's crew chief, they stole from Legacy.
Yep.
I think last year. I think it was a successful crew chief at Legacy, and they grabbed him and they put him on the 77 for Carson. So you have a more experienced crew chief that's had a lot more notes in his direction.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
So I think it's super. I think this is going to be huge for them. And also look at it. Who's probably the best qualifier at Stewart Haas right now? Josh Berry.
Yep. How many times has he made the top 10?
The team.
How many second place or poles or top 5 starts has he had? And then there was something that we were kind of going back and forth with last night with Carteropoli, and then Corey even mentioned it on his show. I was listening to it today. Sparks is definitely like Corey. I don't want to say he's like a Bubba with like the getting hard on himself, getting down on himself, and you can see when they kind of get into a spiral of like doubt. But he was talking about it today where Sparks has been really hard on him lately about gentleman racing is over. There's no more give and take. You basically tell him to drive like an asshole.
Right.
And Corey you could hear it when he was describing it because you can tell he's fighting it because he's like, I grew up, my dad was like, Big Rand was like, if you wreck a car, you're going to go help them fucking fix it. So he's always had it drilled into his head of like, don't race like that. Now he's got a guy in his ear being like, you're being too much of a wimp. Don't give anybody anything. Take everything from them.
I'll give no take.
I'll give no take, or I'll take no give. And it almost seems like maybe he doesn't need that in his head as much, and he won't need to if the cars are better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think all of this, everything that Spire is doing, they're investing in the team, obviously a ton of money.
Big shit ton.
They don't have a revolving door of different drivers. They're bringing in this, obviously Rodney is a big deal. I think it'll make this, synergy of the full team far more successful, or at least ideally.
It's crazy with, like, I saw Norm say it in Discord last night. I think it was last night or the other day. How I feel like such a short amount of time that Spire has gone from a team that was spending $100,000 a week to make $110,000, to make 10 grand.
Yeah.
Remember, that was for a long time. Spire was literally just the,
borderline starting park.
They were starting park. They were doing it to make a penny into a nickel.
Right.
And now we're talking about a team that if they want somebody, they go out and get them. Like, whether that be a charter, Rodney, buying the KBM building and all the KBM shit, McDowell. Like, if they want something, they are not afraid to go spend the money to get it. And it's crazy because I feel like it was 5 years ago, we were like, "Oh, there goes that team that they're literally just doing this for to
Well,
make
when
as,
Corey-
as a business opportunity."
When Corey left the 32 at Go Fast,
Yeah.
probably had a collective 2 top 10s in their entire existence, to go to Spire, we're like, damn, that's a step down for
We
Corey.
literally said it was a downgrade. Yeah,
And for a year or so, it was. And then with the next gen car and Corey, I think, and that's why I've said it a million times, I don't think Corey's seat's in that much jeopardy because he's the reason why the team exists. Like, they started that team with the purpose of starting parking. And Corey, because of his social media presence and his fan base, they're like, oh, fuck, like, people are paying attention to
even
us.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, I remember him talking on his show about how they only had the money to lease an A motor for like one Talladega race.
Yeah.
You know, and now
But I kind of disagree with what Norm said, that it's not in that much jeopardy. I think it now is going to be.
Oh, I agree.
I think he's got 2 years, and then he's in trouble.
I think he's got next year. I think, honestly, with how bad this year has gone for him, because
I think his
last year-
contract is 2 years.
Okay.
I think he's
So
got 2 remaining.
Last year, there was a little bit of an upswing, so we were all looking forward to this year, and then all the money Spire was spending. I mean, we talked about it in the offseason about, he has teammates that are going to push him and all this other stuff, and he's gotten worse this year than he was last
yeah,
year.
and Hocevar's outperforming him.
And so next year,
Because Hocevar unloads with more speed.
yes, next year there is no more excuses. There is no more, oh, well, we don't have the money for that motor, or the setups are bad, or I don't have good enough teammates to collab with data, and we can't bounce stuff off. There's none of that anymore.
There's not a single excuse
There's
anymore.
not a single excuse anymore.
You have Michael McDowell, who can win races and has won races and is a damn good race car driver and was a damn good race car driver in meh
And
equipment.
to be honest,
until it's-
Michael McDowell has done what Corey has been doing. Michael McDowell's been with Front Row when they were, what we were talking about, nothing.
Yeah, starting park. Yeah.
Starting
Yeah.
parks, and he's built it up to be probably a B tier team.
Yeah, McDowell went over there when MWR folded. McDowell was supposed to be the next Casey Kane, the next Dale Jr., the next Matt Kenseth. That was his trajectory, and his future was Michael Waltrip Racing, and then that all folded.
Yeah.
And he was kind of scrambling, and he went to Front Row, and it's just been a long burn for him to try to get competitive, which we've now seen in the past 2 to 3 years. But, yeah, Corey, I think he's, like I said, I think you guys gave him a year. I gave him 2. And Kyle's now, I think, found out that he has a 2-year contract.
If that's the case, then yeah, he's got.
No, I said 2.
Next year is definitely a review year. I think next year is a review year for the whole team. And then the year after that is like, okay, this is what Michael found. This is what Rodney found. These are their notes. The year after that is go or blow.
I still think he needs to show improvements next year,
chat-
regardless.
The chat requests that Ronan be allowed to speak.
This was a listening portion of the show because I'm just trying
not fall asleep.
not to cook
Or
from-
melt.
Yeah, melt.
We turned the air. I feel like I turned the thermostat down and it turned the heat on, because now I feel like it's worse in here than it was.
Yeah, it's
I
hot.
honestly think it's these things.
No, it's not. It was hot before that. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. I'm super excited about it. I think it's the best.
Yep.
He is going to be in the best position he has ever been, and we've talked about him getting his break for all these years. He didn't have to go anywhere, and now this is his opportunity.
I saw something interesting today that I kind of forgot about, and obviously with all the shit that happened this weekend with Corey, you've had all the people digging up all his stats, like, oh, he's only got 3 wins across X amount of series, but those wins that he got in the ARCA series, or K&N series, whatever you want to call it, remember who he was racing.
Yeah.
He was racing Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace.
Well, look at that whole NASCAR,
that whole class. What the hell was it
next
called?
gen or whatever it was,
It was called something like that. Yeah, it was like all that class of whatever that was Brandon McReynolds, Kyle. Remember they did the reunion? It was like
Yeah.
Brandon
Yeah.
McReynolds,
Yeah, it was
Kyle
awesome.
Larson,
Bubba Wallace,
Bubba,
Daniel
Suarez.
Mamba.
Mamba was in that. He was winning races with that, and then you look at where their next step was. Not all of them, obviously, McReynolds and Mamba went elsewhere, but look at where Larson, Bubba, Suarez, they all got into, good rides. Chip Ganassi's, Joe Gibbs, where Bubba was his first
Bubba
ride
was
with
Roush.
was Roush. Like, Corey never got that. He got into cars right from the get-go that were expected to finish dead last.
Honestly, it was Blaney and Chase, I think, were
Those two.
the only two that got out of that program and went right into fast stuff. Like, Blaney obviously went right into BK, which brought him to Wood Brothers, which brought him to, or BKR,
Yes.
which brought him to Penske. Chase obviously just had the entire Hendrick route to go up.
Yep.
Larson didn't really have the
He
cleanest
didn't.
trajectory up to Cup. He got in Ganassi when Ganassi was on their downward spiral and kind of just outperformed that equipment. And honestly,
still way better than
look
the shit
at all
that Corey got.
Brandon McReynolds, he's no longer driving. He's spotting. Mamba, obviously no longer driving. He's in the ether
Everything.
of NASCAR, just doing
hype
media
man.
and stuff like that. Suarez, I mean,
gross.
he was getting kicked out of NASCAR pretty much. Suarez had nowhere to go. He was racing for freaking BK Racing or whatever that 96 car was. And then, lucky for him, Trackhouse formed, and he found a home there.
Yep.
Larson, we know what happened to him. Bubba, he did nothing in Xfinity, had a couple truck wins here and there, gets into Cup. He's with Richard Petty, who's struggling. All these guys kind of had rough in like up and down roads to get to the Cup Series, and Corey sees that. He sees a lot of these guys go through Xfinity, have trouble, go through trucks and have trouble. He was kind of smart, and he goes, if I just plant myself in the Cup Series, eventually I'll be able to get spotted. And I'm just going to keep – he looked at Alex Bowman. He looked at Matt DiBenedetto. Like, these guys just put themselves in shitty equipment and just waited for somebody to see them and give them an opportunity. That's what Corey's waiting for. Unfortunately, that never happened, so he's kind of just trying to build that with Spire.
If you literally had like a graph of everybody's career, some of them are like this. You know, all those guys that came up with Corey. Corey's has just been kind of like
flat,
and then it's slowly starting to go up the hill. Where some of them, it's
hopefully
some of them, it's like they had good rides and they went down. Then
right,
like I said, the only two that came out of that scot-free were Blaney and Chase.
Chase, yeah,
like those
their graphs went like this.
Right, but theirs were honestly just more steady to the top. Corey's kind of just like went straight up to Cup and just kind of stayed low in Cup.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to build it up. But
Like
I give him a lot of credit. Obviously, I would like to be able to stand behind him and go, yeah, well, he has fucking 10 truck wins and 15 Xfinity wins, and he earned this. But I think he kind of just played it smart and just kind of
the long game.
Yeah, kind of just like, I'm going to hedge all my bets in the Cup Series, and I'm not going to move.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this a couple of years ago. We were like, he should go to the Xfinity Series and just get a decent team and just win a bunch of races. Like, that's going to be huge for his career. And now look at it. There's fucking no seats anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, dude was a genius. He just locked himself into a chart.
That's the thing. You go down right now, and I mean, they were talking about it on DBC today think about how many drivers in the truck and Xfinity Series are ready to move up. I mean,
it's a bottleneck.
Austin Hill, Jesse Love, maybe another year.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to run through the whole list.
But you know what I'm saying?
75% of the field.
You can literally name 5 or 6 guys right off the bat that could easily be in a Cup car tomorrow, but there's nowhere to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about that with Junior Motorsports. Junior Motorsports is supposed to be the feeder team for Hendrick. Well, bad news, Junior Motorsports. Hendrick's found their guys for the next 15 years.
Yeah, they're locked up.
There's nowhere to go when you go to Junior Motorsports. That's why all these guys are going Toyota, to Ford, to Trackhouse, to this team, because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So it's smarter just to lock yourself in the Cup Series.
Yeah. So hopefully all goes well. Super exciting news, and we'll see how it pans out. We'll keep it all rolling here.
We will continue planting our flag as the last people in the world that like Corey LaJoy.
Yeah.
Even our Discord's turning against us.
Yep.
Ever since Carter Opley came back.
We're staying the course.
Ever since
Luckily,
Carter Opley
they
came
were
back.
pretty easy to flip from this
They would.
weekend.
We flipped them this weekend, but still.
All right, we'll keep rolling here. We got 23-11 in the news following up on last week. Turns out Bubba Wallace did get fined for the hit on Alex Bowman. No points issued, but a $50,000 fine.
I think that's steep but fair.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
I'm glad there was no points because of where Bubba is in the chase for the playoff spots. Like I said last week, I think it's just the leader especially just needs to be held to a bit higher of a standard post-race because of the situation they're in. They're waving, they're clapping, they're interviewing on their headsets. Like the leader's doing a lot more, the winner.
They're celebrating. They're
on
not
the final lap, especially a road course, where that final lap's fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're celebrating. They're not just driving back around to pit road.
And also call back to the Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez thing. I did watch that after the podcast. I mean, it wasn't nearly as hard or
nothing you don't see every week.
Well, and that's what a lot of people were saying with the Bubba thing is, not a lot of people, but I saw a couple takes on it where it was like, you know, one of the only reasons that even got penalized is because it was on TV. Because it was
we watched
the leader.
it live.
We watched it happen live.
But I just think the winner needs to be held to a higher standard, especially how far down the track he was.
Yeah, I agree.
You dumped or slammed doors a turn after.
Bump, dump, and slam, baby.
Yeah.
Bump, dump, and slam.
Make a sticker. A turn after the finish.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Bump, dump, slam, bounce, whatever.
Bumping and dumping's racing, baby.
There's a new shirt.
You slam doors a turn after the start finish line. Yeah, obviously you guys are both still in race mode pretty much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Bowman was 3/4 of a lap post victory.
Bowman already put himself into the wall.
Yeah, he's burning out. He's drifting.
7 turns earlier.
But you're going down a corridor where he's waving to the crowd and you're going to put him in the guardrail? Like, that doesn't seem smart.
But didn't they say the biggest part of it was his belts were off?
Yeah, which
they weren't off. They were loose, though.
Still.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah,
like I said,
100%.
that's another road course example or like separate thing. Ovals, Dover, you're loosening your belt after the start finish line. I doubt that. It's such a short period before you get to the pits. But at a road course, I mean, when your cool down laps 3 minutes long, you loosen your belt and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you managed to keep your belts tight for 4 hours. I'm sure 5 minutes for a bit of safety is okay.
I mean, you've been sitting in discomfort for a couple hours.
What's another 5 minutes going to do?
Yeah. Either way, like I said, the winner needs to be held to a higher standard than the rest of the cars on the track.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm fine with it. I'm happy there's no points. Again, little steep,
Yeah.
but
I think it is a little steeper monetarily that they probably didn't want to pull points because he's in the race potentially to point his way in.
They were probably
that would end their season.
they were thinking what monetarily would be the equivalent of like 25K and 20 points.
Yeah,
Let's make it 50K.
Instead of 25, it's 50K.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I think that's the best thing they could have done. And if you listen to his interview in the media center, he was like, "It's the best thing that's happened to me." And he talks about how he's trying to right the ship and himself.
We
and stuff
watched
like
that happen. You left. I think you went to the bathroom.
No, I was there.
Well, no, you were left towards the end because you missed his name. Somebody asked him what they're going to name his kid. His response was great. He's like, he basically said that like Amanda's the only one that knows, or he's like, we're not really sure yet. He goes, I don't know, maybe it'll just come out and we got one kind of picked out. It might not work, so maybe it'll just be nameless. So his name will just be Nameless Wallace. And he just started laughing. But he was in
it doesn't matter what they name him. They're just going to give him a nickname.
he was like in a really good mood. Like
He did
was
seem
in
like that.
Like he walked in, he was joking with Bob. He was, laughing at stuff. He seemed like he was in a really good mood. And then that interview, that was pretty heavy, for him
deep.
to be like, I've been miserable for 4 years. It was kind of a wake-up call like, hey, you always preach being the guy you're supposed to be on Sunday. Be the same guy on Sunday that you are on Tuesday. He goes, I'm not doing that. And we've talked about it on here when he pre-race, he's got his headphones on and he's just not talking to anybody. And it's like, I get the competitive mentality there, but now I think Corey said it. He goes, when he gets like that and then one little thing goes wrong and it completely derails the whole day.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Well,
he's
it's like-
so...
And then he snowballs.
And then it snowballs.
We talked about Blaney in the car and how his fuse is so short in the car.
Yeah.
Like that's Bubba Wallace all day on Sunday. The one thing I don't get is he's made these public announcements about his mental health in the past and how he's working on it. And then he comes out and does this and it's like almost like the same thing. It's like, I thought you were already working on your mental health and now this was somehow
Well, he said in the interview...
the thing that made you want to work on
he
your
said
mental health.
in the interview, he's like mentally, like mental health wise, he goes, I'm a big proponent of mental health. And he goes, I'm fine there. He's just, I think he was more talking about his attitude, like his demeanor, his attitude, the way he carries himself on Sundays.
When it's a mental health thing, it's a battle that you will forever fight, and I think probably what he was trying to say is like, this was kind of like a quick snap, like, oh, like a light bulb went off a little bit. Like, maybe he's been working on it as best he can, but this might have been like a little extra light bulb for him. But
it seemed like
it sounded good.
The same thing to me.
Yeah.
And it's like you've already acknowledged that this was a concern. You've been working on it, and now this just seemed like
yeah.
Don't
the
dig too
same
deep in
thing.
it.
I'm not digging too deep in it.
I'm happy that his interview was a little wishy-washy, but I'm happy that he's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with that. It was just like the whole like.
Did you-
what
you
do
saw
think
it,
of the
right?
Penalty.
Yeah, I saw. All he has to do now is just back up what he said.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's easy to say it.
Yeah. Do it.
Just do
right,
it.
which is kind of what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
he's already kind of made this announcement before.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Now
And
it's
then
the
he
same
throws
thing.
all the toys
It's
out of the
same
pram
thing
and then
again,
just copy paste say it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. True. I hope he stands by it because we all like him and we want to see him do well.
Yep.
And we want to see him happy and healthy and competitive all at the same
Happy
time. So
Bubba's the best Bubba.
Happy
He's
Bubba's
the best.
Yeah, when he's in a good mood, fucking around with people, he's the best.
he's hilarious too. All right, we'll keep rolling here. NASCAR news to wrap things up for what I have for news bits. But NASCAR announces today that there will be an option tire for the Richmond race.
seen
Teams will get 3 sets of option tires, 1 for practice, 2 for the race.
None for qualifying?
No, they have to qualify on the regulars.
Correct.
I did see Bob say that. I've seen this movie before. It didn't work. Maybe it'll work at Richmond.
Let's hope. Richmond needs help.
I mean,
I just want the option part to be
no, and that's I was just going to say that I want this time not to be like the All-Star race. You will not dictate what they start on, what they.
I hope that's the case as well, because we did see them make the option available for the rain tires. Maybe this is wishful thinking, but maybe the All-Star race we're mandating this test to see how it goes, and then you can do whatever you want.
This will work if they let them do whatever they want.
Yeah, it'll be good to see a start of a race, and you've got top 10 on the hards, and you've got someone back in 15th, like Larson has a bad qualifying, they get a good setup, and then put the options on, see him carve through.
Right. Them only getting 2 sets of them, though, may pigeonhole everybody. We may not see the options till end of the race kind of thing.
Right, but I do like where Ronan's head's
But I like that, yeah.
Like you take a guy like Josh Berry, Chase Briscoe, or somebody that's going to like qualify 18th. You're like, all right, we're going to put you on the fast ones at the beginning, and you're just going to get track position early, and we just want you to hold that for us.
Exactly. And then they're just going to keep... See,
Gain 5 and then save.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is back half of the teens, right, 10 to 20, they all start on options. The guys out in front are like, we're just going to block. So they'll use 1, and then there'll just be 1 left for the green-white checker.
Yeah.
They'll just, or might not even use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what they do, but I'm excited.
I'm interested to see it.
And I hope they actually wear.
I hope there's a big on-track difference. I hope they don't just wear out faster.
Well, we also have to factor in that Wilkesboro was brand new, and Richmond's not.
So
and Richmond has needed some help to live up to its name.
Yeah, they also.
I hope they wear out, but they're also faster before they do.
That was just my hands.
On the same vein of that, I did see Chris Buescher posted that he was testing at Bristol today, so who knows what they're testing there.
Yep.
I'm kind of hoping it's about 2/3. 2/3 of wear on them. Like.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And how fast they'll fall off when they do wear.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's fall off. You just need, even right now, all the current tires, it's like they fall off a second and then they plateau and you can run 100 laps and you only lost a second off when they were new. They need to keep falling. They need to, 10 laps in, you're half a second off. 20 laps in, you're a second off. 40 laps in, you're a second and a half off. You know what I mean? And it just continues to drop. What we've been watching for years, even before the next gen, it's like they drop off. Yeah, oh wow, there's 2 seconds of fall off at Darlington, but they all fall off to the same spot and then don't fall off anymore. You know?
Yeah. And that's all I got for news bits. You guys got anything else you wanted to add?
I think you pretty much covered all of it.
Major stuff. There was a couple driver
racing some truck stuff.
Yeah, it was a couple small driver things.
Was the Haley news? Did we officially announce?
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Let's get into it.
That's about it. Yeah.
All right, Pocono weekend. So unlike our normal episodes, this episode we're going to just chronologically review our weekend. Ronan joined us for the first time, his first trip to Pocono. So we'll tell you a couple stories as we go along. But yeah, we'll kick it off with Thursday. Nothing too exciting on Thursday. I guess
I just had a shit ride down.
I got my off track, I guess, because we left a little after Dan because I had the wedding tasting.
Yes,
so
you blew that.
Had that, and
Kyle was double booked.
Double booked it.
So we left. Steph and I left with the camper around 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Miserable ride down till about halfway through New York because apparently we left in the wind. So it was white knuckle the whole way down, especially on some of the roads like in Mass and Connecticut where it's all tractor trailers. I mean, it is just truck after truck is going by you, and you're just like, this isn't fun. I'm not having fun. But we made pretty good time down. I think we got down there. We rolled.
That was the chair.
Oh, was it?
Ronan, quit breaking the studio.
Sounded like a window smashed. We made it down. I think we got there around 5:30, 6 o'clock. Registration, I feel like it gets easier every single year. You know, the first year we waited in line. Second year, there was a little bit of a line. Last year, there was maybe 2 people in front of us. This year, we were in and through registration in what felt like 45 seconds. We pulled in. We were moving again.
It gets better and better. Like I said, my first year going, when I wasn't with you guys, there wasn't a big parking lot to do it. It was a bus stop off the side of the main road where the organics place is now.
Yeah.
It was literally just like a little kick off the road, and it was a clusterfuck.
They even opened it super early this year. I think they weren't supposed to open it till like noon, Ant said they were letting people in at like 8:30. He said they were in the track setting up at 10:30, which he's like, it's never been that early before.
There was a bomb detector. I've never seen one of them before.
It's like an X-ray machine, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an X-ray. You drive the whole truck and trailer through. There was a very happy working police dog. I had to close my windows because I didn't want the boys to make a scene. That's not a dog you want to play with.
He's working.
He's working. We get to the tunnel and we get to see the pile left by Joe Soul's camper,
Oh God.
friend of the show and friend that camps with us at Pocono, Joe Soul. Joe Sullivan. Their camper decided to puke its water pump out, literally waiting in line to go in the tunnel. And that Speedy Dry was there until Monday morning. When we left Monday morning,
Still
I was
there.
like, no, it was gone when we went.
Oh, it finally gone?
By the time we left, it was gone Monday
There
morning.
was still some remnants when we left.
I think the hurricane probably washed it out pretty good. Because I don't really remember
Oh
seeing
yeah,
it Monday.
True.
there was like a little strip
There
on the
was
side
when
because the
we-
water probably rushed
was
it over and
gone.
When
stopped.
we
yeah.
went out Friday or Saturday, there was still a beach.
Yeah, there's a beach out there. So it puked all, 6.5 gallons of coolant
Yeah.
out. Yeah. So they were, the track wouldn't let them in, which makes sense. They don't want to mess. So they had to wait outside. They finally got it fixed, Friday morning?
Yeah,
And then they triumphantly come driving in with the arms out the window and shit.
they made it.
They made it. Thursday, and then you guys rolled in at 10:30?
Yeah,
Around
yeah.
10, yeah.
We made pretty good
You
time
guys-
down.
There was a point where I looked, you had just hit Connecticut. It was like Union, Connecticut. I was like, oh, they're still got a ways to go. So I'm talking to people. I don't even remember what we were doing. We were still getting set up at that point. Felt like maybe an hour went by. I look and you were like already in Pennsylvania. I was like, Jesus Christ, they are hauling ass.
I was moving.
I was like, they are moving.
Kyle's driving, so it's checkers or wreckers. Everybody knows that.
Kyle. Oh, I just got the joke. Because I was going to correct you.
That took you so long.
No, because I was going to correct you and say that Kyle drives like a fucking grandpa.
Usually,
The first time we ever went to a race together, when we went to Loudon, we met up at the rest stop. I left the rest stop driving like I normally do, an asshole. We made it a mile from the rest stop. I look at my rear view. I'm like, where the fuck is Kyle?
yeah.
He's just, I'm surprised he didn't pull up next to him and the steering wheel's in his chest. And he's,
I don't know. Maybe it's
why are the
just
cars going so fast?
EV life awakened something again because he drove like a madman the entire way down.
I was moving.
Yeah.
I had the cruise control not on 90 for a while.
You drove through Mexico.
Yeah, well, yeah.
took that
We
route.
took the long way
Yeah.
home.
We came up to the scene of the accident.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we're driving down the Mass Pike. For those that are new to the show, don't know that I wrecked 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I made it this year. So where we wrecked, I was like, it's mile marker 90. I didn't remember which 90. I was like, it's
90
right about
90
here.
and how many tenths?
We see one scuff on the wall. I'm like, that's probably it. And then Ronan goes, nope, it's probably that one. That's like,
50-foot long tan one.
Yeah.
Which is the same color as your truck.
there it is.
There it is, right there.
Found it. So yeah.
We passed that, the scene of the ambulance.
Yeah, we went through, Steph and I went through Danbury by ourselves, and I went, checkpoint reached.
My
She just
my
started
fiance
laughing.
texted me congratulations. That's it.
So,
But we made it.
These guys get, yeah, it was like 10:30. And I
Yeah.
hadn't had a single beer yet. I was
Yeah, I
like,
think
waiting
we
for those.
met you outside the track at 10:50.
Yeah, I hadn't eaten anything all fucking day. So, like, we ate after we got set up. Me and Steph had dinner, and I was like, you know what? At this point, they're so close. I'm going to save my first beer for when they get here so we can all do it together.
He did.
Yeah.
No, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, he did.
I did.
Oh, you drank that fast.
We drank all
I
of
think
the
everyone did.
So Thursday night accidentally got a little out of hand because I don't even know what I put 18 beers in the cooler that night. I woke up the next morning. I think there was like 5 or 6 in there, and I was like, "What did we do last
We drank
night?"
hard and fast.
Ronan looked at me like 3 times. He's like, "You know what suck about these Bud Lights? They go down really easy." And
Busch
as
Light.
it-
Busch
or
Light.
Busch Light.
Whoa,
and,
whoa, whoa, whoa,
sorry,
whoa,
sorry.
whoa.
I mixed our
Whoa.
beers. I mixed
Yeah,
our
I
beers.
would have much preferred Bud Lights.
Yeah. He looks at me and goes, "These Busch Lights go down like water." And I looked at him and I'm like, I crushed my can. I'm like, so do these Bud Heavies. I don't even know what happened. We just all of a sudden it was like
I think we were just all excited to be there and see each other, and we're telling stories and this, that, and the other thing, and we're just shoveling beers down while we're talking.
That's the thing is it was one of those you didn't even realize you were taking sips, and then you're like, oh, I need another one. Oh, I need another one. Oh, and suddenly it's 2:00 in the morning, and we're like,
Oh boy.
we should probably just go to bed.
Yeah.
At this point, you know,
So Friday morning, a little rough. Not the greatest.
it wasn't
not
bad,
the worst.
but it wasn't good.
Yeah, not the worst, not the greatest.
Shoveling ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Yes.
We tried to make some breakfast. Couldn't.
Oh yeah, so the hose to my Blackstone apparently got pinched or something. The hose from the tank to the Blackstone, so that meant we had to make an emergency Walmart trip. Which, if you've never been to Pocono, everything is 20 minutes away. I could have bought the hose from 4 or 5 different stores. Most of them were all in one plaza, 20 minutes away. There was like a Walmart, a Tractor Supply, a hardware.
Ace Hardware or
No,
something?
the Ace Hardware was the other direction
Harbor
by,
Freight.
by itself, but that was also 20 minutes away.
Yep.
So we're like, fuck it, let's go to Walmart. We need a couple things anyway, like little things. So we'll just blast over there.
Cruised around Walmart, bought myself an American flag football,
Bought some cilantro for the boys next door.
found a Kevin Harvick late model Matchbox car.
Yeah, we had some fun in that
Yep.
Walmart.
Realize that you can buy a lot of guns and ammunition inside in a supermarket in America.
Yes,
Oh yeah, I forgot.
which is weird because they don't have guns in our Walmarts anymore, but they do in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we don't get those up here.
Yep.
But they don't have beer.
They didn't have beer.
No beer.
So bad Walmart.
So yeah, we're messing around, and then we get in the truck to head back, and then all of a sudden, that's when the car ride karaoke starts.
DJ Kyle on the 1s and 2s.
Kyle kicks on Shania Twain. We're sitting at a stoplight with "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" blowing my speakers out, and this old guy next to us just slowly turns and looks at us, and Kyle just gives him the thumbs up.
And then he puts up his window.
And then he puts-
Oh, I thought it was already up. I was like, I thought he was just
Oh,
getting
no.
it through the window.
Nope. And then we took that back road that I wish I wasn't in my truck for because that was fun as hell.
Oh yeah, beautiful drive.
But yeah, we went on a little adventure, shot over to the gypsy tents.
Yep. For those that don't know what a gypsy tent is,
Those are all the unofficial souvenir trailers. It's the people, it's like a traveling circus. The same people are at Loudon. They're probably going to be at Indianapolis this week. They're these big,
Check 'em out.
Big wedding looking tents, and they're just full of gold. Some
Oh,
of
yeah.
them, some of them
Leftover
are all,
stuff, whatever.
Yeah, some of them are all die cast. Some of them are like die cast and other random shit. Some of them have new stuff. Some of them have old stuff. Some of them have
90% of the stuff is so sun cooked and
Yeah.
faded.
Yeah.
Because
Some of
they've
it's-
just been trying to shill it out at every track.
some of the places are like knockoff T-shirts. Some of them are official NASCAR merch. Like it's
Yeah.
you
A little bit
name it-
everything.
You name it, you will probably find it.
you could find some gold and some not.
Yeah,
I will say the one that deserves the most shout out though is there was a guy there
Dude.
that made custom displays for diecast cars, 1/24 scale, but he makes them like the bases look like they're carved out of like fucking stone, slate,
Insane.
custom glass around them with custom pedestals inside. And he'll do like 3D print like a Hendrick Motorsports sign, and like he had one set up that if you owned all 4 of the Martinsville Maroon cars, you could set them all up inside the big glass display.
Those were beautiful.
He
had
had
one,
one that
he
had
had-
like a 3D printed cup trophy
Yes.
that was
It was
inside
like a Ryan
the case.
Blaney one.
And then he had all Bubba Wallace or
The
Star
Bubba
Wars
Wallace
ones.
Star
were
Wars
cool.
ones. He had one that was big enough to have a replica of Luke Skywalker's helmet with the
Stormtrooper.
with the autograph. No, Reddick
There
had
was
the Stormtrooper
4
one.
different ones.
Sorry.
So the one I saw that stuck out to me was the Luke Skywalker helmet with the Star Wars car autographed, I think, by both of them, by Bubba and
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. Thank you, Brain. And it had like the picture from the commercial they did with the 2 of them in front of the car, like on as the background of it. It was
Sick.
dude. And we asked the guy, we're like, "Do you make all these?" He's like, "Yeah." We were like, "Dude, this is insane!" Like,
And I felt so bad because he had like he had like a 10x10 tent, and you could barely walk around it. He had probably 50 to 60 autographed like replica helmets.
Yeah.
All his displays,
super
half of them were covered up because it was raining or sprinkling that morning, and it was just like, dude, this guy like should have a storefront at every racetrack.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
And Norm finds the steal of the week.
Yeah, I found this little like playmat, I guess.
It was Matchbox though, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
like knockoff Matchbox cars
for
But it's
1/64th cars, yeah.
But it's Days of Thunder. Like it must have been like movie released child's plaything.
Yeah, that box is
It was
old.
like a little
Oh, yeah.
play mat, probably like I don't know, 2 feet wide, and it's a little oval, and it comes with
Grandstands.
grandstands, like a sign that goes over the track, a lift gate for Victory Lane.
Yeah.
like it's a cool little thing, but it's all Days of Thunder themed. And then on another table, he had every matching car for
So no,
Days of Thunder.
we were looking. So originally we walk in, we see all the diecast, the little Days of Thunder 1/64th cars, and we're like, "Oh, those are sick."
They had haulers and they had
Then haulers and all these. And so then we look at this playmat, and on the back of the playmat, on the back of the box, it says collect all of them, and it's like, there's all the cars, there's all the haulers, they're right behind us. This guy has the whole fucking kit and caboodle.
and he had 2 full sets.
He had 2 full sets. One of them was unopened.
So no one bought it.
Did you get the unopened one?
I bought the unopened one, which is now crushed because it was in the back of Kyle's truck on the way home.
Rip.
So it unfortunately sustained some damage, but I'm not a, don't ever open it kind of guy. Like, as soon as I make space.
He got home last night and he was laying on his rug going, meow.
Yeah, I couldn't because my nephew would find it and I would never see those cars again. So it's hidden. But I need to like build like a little shelf like over my computer or something like that and just set the whole thing up.
That'd be
But
sick.
it's super cool. It was super cheap.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
literally
saw this
paid
thing.
nothing for that.
It was $20.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me? $20 for this?
Yeah.
And like, it was like the open box. I was like, $20, probably missing half the shit in it. Move the open box and the unopened ones right underneath it. Also $20. And I think for all the cars, I bought a full set of all 6 cars, I think. 6 or 7 cars, like movie cars. I bought all those for another like $25. And I was like, fuck, still got $20. So I bought all 3 of Junior's late models.
Oh, I didn't see
Throwback
those.
late model cars. I was like, these are cool.
Nice.
I meant to give them to my dad. I totally forgot because he has the whole display up. But I bought Junior's. It was
Someone has just the
it was like
setup.
3 for $25 or something.
Someone has just the play set up with the 2 cars for $107 on eBay.
Yeah, it's probably never gonna sell.
Yeah.
I
I
thought that
bought
was super cool.
I bought 2 die casts. Bought my fiance her first die cast, got her a Larson one, and bought the Harvick 62 late model.
Yep.
Ronan, what'd you grab?
Got a Truex jersey, I suppose you call it.
Yeah,
Like
the crew shirt.
Crew shirt.
Yeah.
Bought my mother her birthday present. I'm not going to say what it was because this is going to come up before I go home.
She's going to love that Kyle Busch t-shirt you got her.
I thought it was a nice. I thought it was
We
a
were-
nice
we were ac-
Kyle Busch pillow.
We were going to.
What we were going to do was we were going to buy a Kyle Busch diecast,
Yes.
and sign his pickle post across the front of it and give
Yeah,
it to her.
we should have done that.
That would have been great. Dan, did you get anything there?
I escaped.
You made it
unscathed.
out. That's right,
I
yeah.
wanted. There was a couple things I was
Dude, that
thinking about.
race-used Corvette was so
The
sick.
race use Earnhardt Corvette was sick. I almost went back to get that $20 raced version of the 2001 Daytona Pepsi 400.
Oh, yeah.
It was like $20, but I'm like, I don't need it. And like I was telling Norm, the problem is with all the Gypsy with all those die casts. I see one I like. My dad has it already. Like, I'm gonna end up with it at some point. So why?
You're just going to wait it out?
Well, like I could probably go to his house right now and be like, "Hey, I want to throw that." If I had like, let's say I had a room, like an office with all my die casts in it. My dad only has maybe a quarter of his collection actually on display. So if I was like, "Hey, can I grab the Got Milk Terry car from you? I want to throw it in my," he'd be like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. It's sitting in a box."
Yeah.
You know.
So after that, we head back into the track. We cruised over to the fan zone, and Ronan met his Pocono.
Oh yeah, you guys went. Did you guys go without us?
Yeah, we just scooted
Yes.
over.
Yeah,
You
you
guys
guys scooted over there, and I didn't feel like going.
I don't remember if that was Friday or not.
That was.
must-
I
it
could
must
look
have been
back.
Friday.
I can look back at the text messages.
That was
and let you
Friday.
know.
It was Friday. Yeah,
Friday.
we looked at pictures to chronologically order
Gotcha.
this.
So you went to get your pin.
Yep.
You
Yep.
got
Grab my
your
race
pin.
pin as always.
Sick pin this year. Like
Yeah,
that logo
killer.
was.
I got my Truex hat.
Yep.
And then we went into one of the more official Gypsy tents.
Those are the same. I think.
No,
they
it's
just
Gypsy
like
tents with
more
better
ex-
parking.
Yeah.
More expensive.
Yeah, gypsy tents with better parking.
And we walk in, and I was last to walk in. And as we were walking halfway through the tent where the makeshift counter is, the girl behind the counter comes over and goes, "Hey, can I see your tattoos?" And starts rubbing my arm as she's looking at
I thought
them.
women didn't like when we touch their tattoos, but that they can do it to you.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
all.
we don't need to get into this debate. But yes, you are correct.
They're not tattoos. They're called art.
Oh
Okay, guys?
God!
Yeah, we had that too.
Oh, the art guy. I forgot about him.
Yeah, but we couldn't.
She didn't leave you alone.
Yeah. Now, I got $5 off a jacket the next day. Just because.
That's called business, baby.
That's called business.
Yeah.
We couldn't tell if she was after drinking a lot of beer or pregnant.
yeah,
Maybe both.
yeah.
Maybe both.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, but I went back the next day, and Kyle talked me into buying a jacket that was too big for me.
I didn't talk you into
Buddy,
it.
you-
I told you how I wear mine, and you
I was
bought it.
on the ledge, and you blew.
Yeah, Ronan, you were
Yeah.
talking about that thing
Yeah.
since you saw it, trying to justify it.
Yeah,
in
they
your head.
did
Don't
two.
pin this on me.
They had two XXX Truex jackets, and
Kyle's had enough pinned on him this weekend. He doesn't need anything else.
It's fair.
they were the official ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, I'm XL, 2X is too big, and I put it on. The only problem with it was the sleeves were a
Arms.
tiny bit too long.
Yeah.
I have big shoulders, so it fit me. And we were walking back, and Kyle was like, I always wear my jacket over a hoodie. I was like, God damn it. So for the next 24 hours,
He was thinking about it. He was stewing
He
on it.
mentioned it at least from Friday into Saturday. I heard about this jacket 4 times, 5 times.
Yeah.
And we went back up Saturday after Xfinity qualified.
Yeah, after
It was always like it was like if they still have it when we go back, I might get it.
Yeah.
Well, we should go back and see if they still have it. They're not going to have it anymore. I don't need to worry about it. I want to go back and see if they still.
Yeah, but then it was also, I really hope they don't have it, so I can't buy it.
Yeah.
Really hope they still have it, so I can buy it.
Yeah.
And they had 2, and there was only 1 left.
You got it. So then we head up to the grandstands with the whole squad, watch the truck race.
Yes, we had our Golden Hour
Some
truck
of it.
race.
Yeah.
Golden Hour truck race has replaced Golden Hour ARCA race because there was no ARCA this year.
No. So highlights from the truck race as I was running back to racing electronics again.
Oh yeah, because Kyle's scanner for the second time this year has broken.
Yeah, I had I'm going to give a shout out and also a yell at
this
racing
is a
electronics. I'll quickly hit this because we got lots to talk about. But some have heard my racing electronics issue from before. Bought my racing electronics headset 23. Did a couple races. Never was great. We went to Coda. Didn't work at all.
Yep.
Go over racing electronics tent. Yeah, you got a dud. Gave me a new one. Thank you guys so much. Gave me a new warranty. Come to Pocono. Not working.
It worked at Loudon, right?
Ish. Super staticky ish. Didn't work at all in the grandstands Pocono.
Kyle turns around and looks at me and goes, "Is your scanner staticky?" And I'm like, "No, mine's great." And he like didn't believe me. He like made me plug his headphones into my scanner, and he just looked at me like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So
And then remember, he gives me his scanner, and I'm messing with it. And if I held on to the antenna, like if I did this with it, you'd kind of hear what was going on. And then the second I let go of it, it was gone.
yeah. So they're watching the truck race. I'm in a bad mood. I go flying down to the fan zone to see if Racing Electronics is still there. They're not. I walk about a half mile for no good reason. Fast forward, I'll just hit it all at once. Next day, go to Racing Electronics behind the media center. Lady looks at it. She goes, "Oh, you got the bad batch." Looks it up. You got the bad batch twice.
Knows immediately because she looked at the serial number and goes, "Oh, it starts with 122. Those are all bad."
They've
all been
had this issue enough that she remembers.
So
the
she
number.
goes, "Go see," what was her name?
Kathy.
At the other one, which is the original one that I tried to go to.
Which
so
is-
Norm and
which
I had to
is-
walk all the way over there.
So we are in the infield at the media center. Kyle now has to go through the paddock, under the spectator tunnel that goes under the start finish line, up into the grandstands, and like all the way to the back of the fan zone.
Yep. But thankfully, they fixed it. They said, "Yep, you got the bad batch again. Here's a brand new one. Here's
We
a brand
didn't
new
even need
warranty."
Kathy, dude. We talked to like Noreen or whoever the other old lady there was.
So
And she hooked it up.
I hate you guys for giving me 2 bad ones in a row, but I love you guys for being super nice and great customer service.
customer
Give me a brand new one,
service is- yeah.
and this one is finally mint.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And they gave him a brand new one. They also like restarted his warranty, which is cool as well.
yeah, gave me a fresh warranty, which is awesome. But yeah, we got to watch truck race from the grandstands. I mean, Heim Time shows up and shows
He
out
just dominated
once
that-
again.
He dominated that race. I'm kind of bored with truck racing because I feel like every time they do it, it's either
crazy.
Heim or
Like,
Eckes.
between Christian Eckes and Corey Heim, they've led 51% of the
that.
laps this
Yep.
season.
And the crazy thing is Corey Heim is still behind, Eckes in driver points. Those two boys are putting on a show. Any major highlights you want to touch on from the truck race?
There was the weird. I didn't even know about this because we were walking back to the campsite. Did you hear about the whole red flag thing? So it started raining. We're up in the grandstands. It started raining in turn 3. It wasn't raining on us. We're on the grandstands and we're like, "What do you mean it's dry?" But Pocono is such a giant footprint that it could be raining on one side and not the other. Yep. So they brought the trucks down pit road. We were like, "Well, screw this. There's like 6 laps left. Let's just bail and head back to the camper." So we start walking. We hear some jet dryers. Then shortly thereafter, we hear the trucks go back out. We're like, "Oh, okay." They made 2 caution laps, and then it started raining again. And there was a whole thing about, apparently NASCAR was talking about making those 2 laps just not count. They were talking about it on TBC today.
Yeah.
They were like, NASCAR was like, "All right, those 2 laps didn't count." And everyone, because there was people that were up against the fuel window, and they were like, what do you mean? You can't do that. You can't just change the rules in the middle of the race. And then I guess they backtracked on it and changed it. They made them count. So basically we got back to the camp. They dried the track for 40 minutes
Yeah.
by the time we got back to the camper, and then they fired off the little like 3-lap sprint to the finish there, which amounted to nothing.
Corey Heim takes the checkered flag.
Yeah, he dominated that race.
Oh, just busting chat. Our boy reminded me of something that I need to bring up. So when I went to Racing Electronics to be closed,
well, we got to go back before
Yeah,
that.
it starts before that.
well,
We saw the guys.
I picked something up on the way back to the track.
which we had seen
Back
in
to
the
the
stands.
grandstands, I
We
should
had
say.
seen in the stands before Kyle
Yeah.
left.
There was a gentleman behind us that walked up with a plastic bucket with 2 handles on it with the words "Tub of Fun" on it.
It was a plastic bathtub.
Yeah,
It
yeah, it was a
was
bathtub.
plastic
It was an actual
bathtub.
bathtub, plastic, called the Tub of Fun, and it was loaded to the gills.
Oh, fuck.
Tub
Tub
O
O
fun.
fun.
They had to put
Yes.
they had to put the Irish thing in for
Yes.
Ronan.
Loaded with French fries and chicken tendies. So we were doing over/under bets on how much it cost. Turn around, just ask the guy, $28. Pretty steep, kind of sick. So I go to Racing Electronics, super bummed. Once you have a headset, scanner for the races, it's hard to go without it.
Yeah.
So I'm not in the greatest mood. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting the damn Tub of Fun on the way back. So we all enjoyed a trough of French
There was
fries
a
and
lot
chicken
of
tenders.
food.
You guys
Gosh.
were getting to the point where you couldn't finish it.
We didn't.
You were dying.
Yeah, we did not. But it was worth it.
And then the gentleman, a couple rows in front of us, was really paying homage to Ronan here with his Lucky Charms racing jacket.
Oh,
Yes.
there was a lot of Irish puns this weekend.
Oh, a lot of them. A lot of them.
And then we had our buddy right in front of us who really, 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 really liked Ross Chastain.
Oh, yeah. Standing up the entire time, counting the positions each time they went by, even though there was a pylon right in front of
He
us.
was using his phone to time the distance. When he was in second, he would hit the button when Heim would go by and then hit the button again when Ross would go by. The man had had a few sodas, so I don't think his reflexes were right
They weren't
there.
great. And every time Ross went by,
25 seconds behind.
he was high-fiving what seemed to be his son.
Maybe son.
Was
yeah.
not his son.
Oh.
It was the guy down the line's son.
Oh.
Oh.
I missed that.
So they
I have
high-fived
no idea. I don't know what their relation
775
was,
times.
But like, it's like I thought at first they were working for the team
yeah.
because every time he came onto the pitch, like, oh, there he is, there he is. I was like, oh, maybe they're like VIPs and like they were brought onto the track and they got to meet him and stuff. No, I just think it was like a diehard fan. But this dude was counting on his fingers lead distances.
Yeah.
He's like, see, he's 3 seconds behind. Now he's 2 seconds behind him. It's like, the fuck are you doing,
Yeah.
dude? And then he brought out his phone to be more accurate.
My favorite was while we're under caution, the field goes by at 60 miles an hour, and he's screaming at Ross to go get him, pass another one. And I'm like, I yelled, I'm like, you can't do that. It's a caution. Like,
He was having a great time, wildly annoying
as
us,
we
but
always
whatever.
joke about with the Chase Elliott fans, it was a
Ross
Chase
fan this time.
that also liked Ross apparently because he was acting like a lot of the Chase fans we see.
Yep.
But it's
So,
always the people that know the least that are the most vocal. And it was definitely one of those situations where I'm like, that's not true.
yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah, he was having a grand old time at our expense.
But we get back to the camper. We did tacos.
We watched the rest of the truck race. We decided to rotate from our normal tradition of taco night being after the cup race. We decided to do it Friday night this time.
Yeah. Then we got to hang out with the ever famous Pickle Moonshine squad.
Yes, we finally got. I mean, you didn't even go see them last year. I don't even think any of us went and saw them
I don't
last
think we
year.
saw 'em.
So we hadn't seen them since Christ. I mean, you hadn't seen them since the first year.
Yeah.
You obviously didn't see them the second year because you weren't there. I think we may have said hi to them in passing.
Yep.
But I mean, so good to see them. They are the nicest people. Their whole squad, they are unbelievable. Like to the point of inviting us to they have a house like 10 minutes from North Wilkesboro. They're like, oh, if you guys ever need a place to crash, come on down. We're like, what? We ended up with them almost every night, just hanging out with them.
She now has the title of Pickle Moonshine Lady because we've talked about her a thousand times.
She's Moonshine Mama.
Oh, it's even better. I like
A
that.
couple of us said that, and she was
Because it's an
laughing at
awful lot
it.
more than just pickles.
Oh, yeah, I know.
She
has
had
a collection.
She had a table at their camper covered in moonshine. There's pickle. There was chocolate peanut butter. There was like
I
a
have that.
vanilla cream one.
Ronan has that.
I know
He
he
brought
does.
it with him.
She would not say no, take no for an answer.
No, she tried to get me to take it away Friday night, and it was half full. I was like, no, I'll make you a deal. I'll come back tomorrow, and I'll drink it with you. And then
She didn't feel good. She got sick on Saturday.
Yeah.
She was playing a drinking game with a bottle of wine, but also drinking in between the drinking games, so she needed to go for a little nappy nap.
She had like heat stroke though. It was also
Yeah.
the heat got to her as well. It was a mixture of the two things. So she reappeared at like midnight on Saturday night. She's like, I feel better now. I took a nap.
Yeah,
Like
they were so nice to us. They even fed us on Sunday with their leftover food.
the
But
guy,
so the nicest
the other
people
guy
in the
walked up
world.
with the pizza on Saturdays. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
want a
that's-
pizza?
I
it
was
was
like-
good pizza.
I didn't know that. I hadn't met that guy. He just shows up with pizza. And I was like, don't take that pizza from a stranger. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, he's literally like straight off of. I'm assuming he had a little pizza oven over there. Like just walks.
He made
over.
that dough himself by
Steph
hand
said it was
on site.
now I
Steph
wish
said
I
it was
had some.
unbelievable.
Ronan grabbed one.
Joe, the pizza slapped.
It was
Pizza was
good.
unbelievable.
It was also hotter than the surface of the sun.
Dude, he walked
Yeah.
by me.
He was
and I-
holding it, dude.
He walked
Yeah.
by me like a foot away from me, and I could feel the heat. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, and he was barehanded it.
yeah.
Guy's an animal. And the ribs he made, solid.
Yeah, good
He's like,
ribs.
they're not my best. I made them on Thursday to prep everything, so it was a lot less difficult to make them. Like they might be a little tough. I'm like, these are still really, really friggin' good for campsite ribs. So great family, love them to death. Awesome to hang out
And
with
I
them.
love knowing that we see them every year. That they're in the same spot every year.
And the highlight for me on Friday night to end the night, wrap things up, and we'll move on to Saturday, was after the little sprinkle, we get back to the campsite, do a little food. All right, let's play some cornhole. I'm facing Ronan. Directly behind the Irishman's head, a double rainbow forms, and it's the most spectacular thing ever.
The pot of gold jokes run rampant
Oh,
that evening.
yeah.
That evening.
It was beautiful.
It literally, in one of the pictures you got, it's coming out of my head.
Yes.
Well, that's how it formed.
Yeah, and it's great. I look around at one point because, I mean, the rainbow, it was a full rainbow right over the campground. And I turn around and literally every...
Joe in the chat beats a Disney little while chewing. That was awesome.
So,
I've never
Well
seen
done,
that
Joe.
written out before.
I know, but as soon as you see the words, it's HASHASHAHS.
yeah, so I turn around and the entire campground that I can see is just people taking rainbow pictures. Everybody.
Yeah.
Because it was awesome.
Of Ronan.
Yeah, I didn't get any pictures because I was just being directed around for photography.
Yeah.
Stand here. Now kneel down. Now look off into the distance. Now
The
put
amount
both
of
your hands so
fake
you're holding them.
cornhole shots I saw Ronan take, so Kyle gets
Ronan,
a
say,
perfect picture, dude.
say words.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that Friday? That was Friday. Walking back.
Yeah, that was walking back. from
Walking
the truck
back,
race.
there's family have a cornhole set up, and it has written on the boards was official Irish drinking team. And Dan goes over, "Are you really Irish? Are you really part of the drinking
Well,
team?"
because he said something, but he wasn't going to say something to
Yeah.
them. So I'm like, I had a couple beers, so I was like, I'm going to go say something.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys really part of the Irish drinking team? And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, Ronan, say words. Because I didn't want
Direct
to tell them.
quote.
I didn't want to tell them that he was from Ireland. I wanted them to hear him.
Yeah.
So the first thing that came to my mind was, monkey dance. Ronan, say words.
I think if Ronan just walked up without you doing anything and just went, "I've never fucking heard of you," in like an Irish accent, and just walked away, I think that would have been awesome.
Who the fuck do you think
They
you
got
are?
quiet fast.
They
then,
did.
though.
As soon as
They
Ronan
got
said
quiet.
stuff, they were like, oh.
Well,
Is this offensive?
they just pick up the boards and hand them to him. These are yours now.
We got these for you.
Oh, man. But
Yeah,
great times Friday.
Friday night just turned into cornhole till it got dark.
Sat around the fire and
We
drank.
literally sat around the fire till 2 a.m. again,
Yep.
drinking again.
Yep.
That was the night we finally got the speakers hooked up together.
Yeah.
And then they
Oh,
started
nice
having a
to
delay, and we
Yeah.
were all looking at each other like, does anyone else hear this? Is there an echo?
I
in
finally
here?
stood up. Was like, I can't do it anymore.
So Joe Spinelli was next to me, and he's like, I think it was him and Just Bus. We're looking at each other, and he's like, do you guys hear that? I'm like,
Is this a delay or am I just really
yeah, and
drunk?
I'm like, no, there's a delay. And we sat there and listened to it for like 45 more seconds. And then Kyle just out of nowhere just is like, can't do it anymore, and stands up.
It's like the same Bluetooth technology that's on our underglow in our cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at first it's lined up and it just slowly separates.
Yeah.
So that was the first full day. Got after it. Had a good time.
That was when Ronan made his promise to me.
Of?
It's been one full day, but this is now a yearly trip.
Oh.
I don't remember that.
You said it.
You said it.
You said
I remember it.
Is it on tape?
Nope. All right. So that was pretty much Friday. We'll move on to Saturday.
Saturday.
Got up. Grill's working. Made some brekkie. And we actually headed over and did some media stuff.
Yeah, we did our normal Saturday walk through the garage, hang out. It was boiling hot.
Yeah, it was.
It really wasn't. It was only like 80 degrees, but in the paddock area and along pit road, it was all like freshly sealed black pavement. So it was like walking on a frying pan because
Yeah,
there was
we
not a
talked about
cloud in
that
sight.
last year. I think it was freshly done, and it was bad last
Yeah.
year, and it didn't really improve this year. But
No.
it's just like this is they talked about it at Wilkesboro as well. Wilkesboro, they just paved the entire infield,
Yeah.
and it's like you guys are fucked.
Yeah, what was it? Cohan, at one point, we met up with them end of the night, and he was standing on one of the seam sealers, and his shoe had sunken into it.
Oh, yeah.
So But
You forgot one thing from Friday night.
What?
We were walking through the paddock before we go under the bridge, and Kyle has the essential badge.
Damn right.
And he's like, I'm going to run in and get some Celsius off the back of Corey's
Oh,
trailer.
Because Kyle figured out that the teams give out free stuff.
Yeah.
And now that's his personal 7-Eleven every time we go to the track is whoever has the Celsius cooler behind them.
I always bring a Celsius just in case, and then when they inevitably, and they always do, have the Celsius cooler out back, I'm like, I always go over them like, hey guys, do you mind if I grab one? Every single time, because I don't want to be that guy. But they're like, yes, please take as many as you want.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be greedy. I just took
Brett,
two.
they're there for the teams, the fans, the media guys. Like that's the purpose of them. The monster
Usually
guys
the
set up
monster guys have the
ones.
coolers. And
Yeah, they had that too.
Colleague, Spire, they always have Celsius set
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
stuff.
Remember, Corey's years ago had the Built Bars. They had like the rack of Built Bars
Yeah.
behind the.
I scoot in there. I grab two. It was one of Corey's crew guys. I'm like, mind if I grab one? Yeah, sure. Help yourself to it. Grab two. Look up. It's Corey. And he's staring at me and looks at my shirt, looks at me and goes, you guys again?
Because Kyle's wearing his Loses Fast shirt.
Yeah. You guys again? Like, we might get some stalking charges pretty soon.
Yeah, so this is now we've ran into him at 3 out of our 4 races. We didn't see him at Coda.
No.
We didn't do any media stuff at Coda though.
Right.
Daytona, we got lucky. We ran into him at 7-Eleven. That started the downhill snowball.
Yep.
Then there was the Loudon incident with him not liking my hair.
Yep.
But again, like we talked about, he stopped, came over to us and asked us about the podcast.
Right.
And now 3 weeks later, he sees Kyle
Just
again.
elbow deep in his Celsius cooler. Hey.
Like I said, I'm surprised.
Did you want one of these?
I listened to the show and I surprised it wasn't the penny stalkers of the week. These 3 idiots that I can't seem to shake.
Yep. So we ran into him.
He was a little preoccupied on a show this week.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we got over at Media Center. Obviously, you had our seats, which was awesome to have the exact same seats because we went and looked for the same spot.
Well, you guys disappeared for a little while. We walked.
Oh, because I went to get my
we
scanner
went in,
fixed.
We went into the media center and it was air conditioned, and then they were like, "We're gonna run over and deal with the racing electronics thing." And I'm like, "I'm gonna stay here." Actually, I think I was in the bathroom, and I thought
you were lip pooping.
I thought you were going by yourself, and then I came out, and y'all were both gone. I was like, "Okay, well, I'm just gonna hang out in here." And then I went out to meet you guys because I thought you just went to the one by the media center. I didn't know you had to go
Gone another mile
halfway across the moon. So I start walking up and down pit road. I started walking up, and I run into Bradley Perez.
Yep.
Because he was working, so he worked on a truck team on Friday, but his ride home was an Xfinity plane. So he was stuck there. He was just in street clothes, taking pictures. He was doing photography and stuff. So he saw me. He comes running over, gives me a big hug. I was like, "What are you still doing here?" He's like, he's like, "These guys are my ride." And then someone yelled his name, and he disappeared. I was like, "Bye."
Yep.
Never saw him again. So,
Joe, it wasn't me. I arrived Saturday. We'll get to you.
Yeah, we'll get to you, you son of a bitch.
Good guy.
So I cruised up pit road for a little bit, hung out. I was just hanging out by pit boxes watching Xfinity qualifying.
Yep.
Met up with you guys. We hung out on pit road for a little bit. Got way too damn hot. So
Yeah.
we bailed and just hung out. We hung out in the media center for most of qualifying.
Yeah, we cruised around, hung out in Media Center for most of qualifying,
We
and then
hung
we
out
went
under
back.
the tunnel when they pushed the cup cars out.
Yeah,
It was
we went.
actually really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was really cool. We found a shady spot. There's these walk-through tunnels, not tunnels, but like overhangs between the garages. And as soon as Xfinity qualifying was over, it was like a bell went off, and all of a sudden, every cup car is rolling by us.
Yep.
So we got to see it pretty much. We got to see every cup car go by. We were sitting there watching the drivers go by. Saw Corey again. So one of my buddies from Volkswagen Land is a Spire Motorsports photographer. We ran into him at Coda. We saw him.
Yep.
And I knew he was at Pocono, and I saw him walking with Corey. So I was like, this will be funny. So I walk over and I yell his name, and I yell his name, Alex, and he comes over, he gives me a big hug. And as I'm walking over to give him a hug, I look at Corey, and Corey's just staring at me.
Well, when you screamed his name, Corey looked at you in the first place.
Yeah, and Corey's just looking at me. Like, he didn't say anything, but you could tell the way he was looking at me. He was like, now they know my people?
Yeah.
Like,
We'll find
yeah, I
you.
gave Alex a big hug. Good seeing him for a second. He was walking with Corey, though. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got to see all the cars go by. Had some laughs at the autograph hounds.
Yeah, we
did
actually
end
had
up
a
talking to
conversation with a family of autograph hounds, as we call them. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of bothers us. We were talking about it, how people just like absolutely chase the drivers when they're trying to walk up to their car. They're going to go practice, going 180 miles an hour down the racetrack. Like, they're trying to focus
The
a
one
little
that
bit.
bothered me the most was that woman, that 40, 50-year-old woman that like ran in front of William Byron and then was like trying to run backwards. I thought she was going to fall over because she didn't look like the most stable person in the world.
Yeah.
She looked like she was going to eat shit trying to get this hero card signed. And like she cut there was like a, 13-year-old kid there with a die cast holding it out. And she like put the hero card right over his stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's so.
It's not our thing, but the family that we chatted with were actually super nice people. And I was like, do you guys like sell these things? Because I figured they're hounding all these drivers to get to sign all this shit, and they probably do it every time they can get to a racetrack and probably sell it. And like this family was like, nope, this is all our personal collection. Our whole basement's full of stuff.
They had binders full of not the hero cards, but trading cards, like baseball cards. And
I didn't even know baseball cards existed.
And they had
Right, I haven't seen one of those
drivers.
since like
There was a couple of
2003.
packs in the gypsy tents.
yeah.
Yeah, they
old
used
ones,
to, but
yes.
they're new ones.
They sell them at Walmart.
Yeah,
you can get
that's what they
good
told
things
me.
of them. Yeah, so they had binders, almost looked like Pokemon card binders, and they were all alphabetical. Like they'd have 2 pages of William Byron, 2 pages.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't even like those though. They were like just booklets. They like glued them or taped them
Yeah,
to.
it
That
was
way,
cool.
because obviously the binders, when you slip them in,
True.
you can't sign them. So they had them like literally just like a collection of like you'd get at like Disney autograph books. They had one of those, but they were just like 4 cards taped on each page. It was super cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So nice to learn a little bit of something what people are into. Not our thing, and it bothers us a little bit how much they bother the drivers. But hey, everyone's got their own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got
shot
to
the media center.
Yeah, we shot to media center, watched the rest of the qualifying. Obviously, a couple drivers came in for
So what did we
interviews.
see?
and-
They weren't as quick, or we didn't see
Well,
as many as usual, but we left.
we left,
too.
yeah.
We left before qualifying.
yeah, we saw a handful of drivers listening to some interviews, and then we decided we wanted to go over to the fan zone because Ronan had never been there.
Yep.
So we told him to walk over, and basically after we saw the pole run, when the drivers usually will come into the media center, we headed out.
Yep.
Because it was a good lull in between qualifying and then the start of the Xfinity race because we wanted to hit fan zone and then wanted to
We had,
watch the
like,
race.
2 hours, I think, before
Yeah.
Xfinity.
So we met Ronan outside of the media center, cruised over to the normal fan zone where all the haulers are. Nothing crazy to write home about. Cruised through everything.
Baked.
Bought a couple things.
Baked over there again.
Got cooked. But there's one quick thing we got to put a pin in. Went over to the Hendrick hauler.
We also saw our buddy at the Classics Hauler. Got to shout him out.
Yes. Yes, as always.
Very hospitable as always.
Yep.
You saw us. He goes, "You guys, just love that guy."
Connor's brothers were saving me at home, helping fix the air conditioner. So grabbed them a couple T-shirts, and then we hit the Hendrick hauler. And Hendrick hauler had a 48 Bowman hat on sale for $15.
We had looked at them because Norm was talking about looking for a basic black hat.
Right.
And you had just bought that NASCAR hat, and then we saw this, not a pile, but they were all just kind of like stacked up
There was
together.
like 10 or 15 of them.
Yeah.
Norm checks it out. He's like, "Oh, it's nice material." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then all 3 of us purchased the same hat, the one that you're looking at on the live stream. Put a pin in that because that's going to come up
That's
later.
gonna come back
We
later.
talked to the guy, and they were made during COVID.
Yes.
Because that was when no one had materials and stuff
Yep.
like that. So they were just like a generic hat they could just quickly stamp their stuff on, and so they were $15.
And my thing was, it's very hard to get hats to fit my head. So I was like, if I can try it on, I'd buy it. And Norm's like, yeah, they wanted to try it on. And then Kyle bought one and goes, you can try mine on. I was like, this fits perfect. I'll take one too.
Yeah.
That was that.
Yeah, I know they won't let you try it on because Dan does it every time.
No.
Oh no, it's folding the
They
brim.
allow you to try them on. They don't allow you to, if you like even remotely curve the brim. They like
because
you
Dan
own that now.
instinctively does it because
It's
every
a-
time he puts a hat on, he
It's a natural
Folds it
reaction.
to
Like I
his
put
head.
it on and do a little one of those, and I
Yeah.
did it at Daytona, and the guy in the Hendrick trailer almost jumped out of the trailer. Like,
I don't blame him. To be
I
fair.
don't either.
Yeah.
I understand completely. I didn't even do it on purpose. It's just like, normal things.
it's just how you put a hat on.
Yeah.
To be
So
honest,
we headed back to the campground, hopped on top, and watched the Xfinity race from back at the campground. Highlights from Xfinity.
Sam Mayer dumped the shit out of SVG.
Apparently more than once.
He had a couple. Who do you have words with after the race? Wasn't it
Sam Mayer and Chandler
Chandler Smith.
Chandler
That
got-
wasn't even a wreck. That was just Sam Mayer just driving like
driving like
idiot.
an ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Allgaier takes the first stage. Cole Custer takes the second stage and the checkered flag.
Yep.
Right
It
in front
wasn't-
of his number one fan, Mr. Norman Pelletier.
It wasn't a super crazy race. There was a couple incidences. Pit strategy got kind of crazy by the end of it. And it was pretty much the 7 had stayed out and tried to like kind of flip a stage, and Custer had to chase him down. So it made the ending kind of exciting because Custer was on much newer tires. So it was a good battle. Unfortunately, SVG was playing the stage flipping, and he was sitting around 10th place with, I think, less than 10 to go. And Sam Mayer, just for whatever reason, just drove 4 car lengths deeper into turn 2 than normal and just cleaned him out. Mm-hmm. Fortunately for SVG, he didn't really hit anything. But unfortunately for him, it put him in the back, and he got dumped again at the end of the race. So unfortunate end for SVG's day.
Yeah, for someone who had a really good run going for the day.
This was one of those races I looked at it, and I'm like, this could be a good race for SVG because it's an oval, but they're all road course turns. So I'm like, I feel like Indy or Pocono, these are ovals that SVG I feel like will adapt to faster because they're not traditional. So unfortunately for him, obviously he's still got 3 wins. He's still leading the points or whatever. But unfortunately for him, he ended up finishing like 30th.
Yep. So yeah, got to watch
Kyle,
that.
I might have to come live with you.
Why?
Steph just sent me the radar at home.
Oh, well, you're dead. Nice to know you.
Yeah, it's going to be
So yeah,
ugly.
it's always beautiful just to watch it from up there.
It really is. That was just a fun, just hang out up there with you guys. I mean, I think I made it through the first stage. The sun was still pretty cooking. I didn't put any sunscreen on either, and I could feel my legs getting a little hot. So I was like,
Yeah,
I'm a bail. And then I think we went back up end of the race. I think me and you went back up.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
you guys were up
Yeah.
there having
I
a
didn't
moment.
watch any of the Xfinity race from the camper. I don't think
You were up. You were on.
You were watching the TV. You were under the
I
under
was
the
beat.
awning
That's a
because we
long
were
day of
cooked
walking.
in the
Feet were killing me. I was like,
Yeah.
dogs were barking.
I found a chair.
I was in the
the
kitchen
shade
whipping
and I
stir
watched
fry.
Yep.
That was later.
Yeah, that's next. Yeah, we made some dinner.
Yep.
Whipped that up, and then Kohan and I did our. So here's a story. Kohan and I, Nick Kohan, great dude, my boy. We talk about it all year long that we are a very good team.
Which makes
playing cornhole.
Which makes no sense because this is the only weekend of the entire year that Nick Cohan touches beanbags.
I mean, for the most part, same.
Yeah.
But for some reason, you put us two together, the cockiness starts to fly out
you
of
guys-
Kohan.
you guys
No,
were
I was trying to keep him in
mouthy.
check.
You were getting mouthy at the
After
end.
the win, I was doing the old discount double check belt thing.
You were getting mouthy. He was obviously very mouthy because he was like 2 high noons in.
Yeah, I was trying to keep him in check until we won. But on like a 3-game run, we went 63 to like 9.
You guys beat me and Steph. I think it was like 17-0, and then we finally got a point. We were like, "Hey!"
Yeah.
Like,
So Kohan and I are
beat you,
putting on a.
which I was playing okay.
Yeah, Friday night I was good. Friday night,
Yeah.
Saturday
Yeah.
night. For
Me
whatever
and you
reason,
beat them
and
Friday
Cohan
night,
The
yeah.
problem
just
was
found another gear.
when I was playing you, I was playing pretty good, but you were matching me. We were matching each other shot for shot.
Yeah.
Like you'd put it in the hole, I'd get it in the hole. You'd put one on the board, I'd put one on the board. It was like every time I thought I was going to get points, it's like, how many we get? Nothing? Perfect.
Yeah, we had a really good battle.
We had a
back and
good
forth.
battle for a little bit.
So Kohan and I, juices are flowing, having a good time, drinking some beers. These guys that are next to us also have cornhole boards, which are really nice. Asked to play us.
So I look at them and I go, those are really nice cornhole boards. The bags that they have are like the professional ones where one side is slippery and the other side is grippy.
Yeah.
I was like, you can play them, but I mean, the ones that we have, they work for what we're doing, but they're not.
Yeah, there's Pocono cornhole, and then there's these guys.
Yeah, Pocono cornhole, none of the bags weigh the same. Like
The
one of them
boards
was
aren't straight
The
to
boards
each other.
aren't straight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. We're having fun.
No, and I'm not complaining. I
Yeah.
have more fun doing that than when you have to play against these guys.
Yeah.
When they get out
So-
the measuring tape.
Yeah.
I knew when
Co-
they came up to us at like 10:30, 11 a.m. and they're like, "Hey, you guys want to play cornhole?" I'm like, "Dude, it's like 11 in the morning. We're gonna make some lunch and chill for a bit, maybe later." And the second we brought the boards out later in the afternoon, the guy was like looking around his camper.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, but
"Let
they
me
were
know when you
super
guys
cool. They
bring
were
your
great to
best
chat with.
us."
Oh no, they were awesome dudes. But
Yeah.
I told
Norm
Kyle,
doesn't like 'em, but
I told
I thought they
Kyle
were
I was
cool.
like, you guys are about to get throttled.
Giving you a hard time.
I was like, you guys are about to get throttled.
Yeah, so we're like, all right, we'll play one game on your boards because you guys are clearly good and know what you're doing, and then you come play on our shitty boards with the bags that don't
Weigh the same
weigh
or-
the same, and one of them's slippery, one of them's not, and yeah, then we'll do that. We got absolutely fucking destroyed.
Like 21-0 on their,
Embarrassed.
was it 21-0 on their boards?
And then
like
21-2.
21-2 on your.
Yeah,
on
I
ours?
scored 2 points across 2 games. These guys annihilated us in 3 minutes.
and they made it look the kid. It was an older gentleman and a kid. I'm assuming father and son.
father son, yeah.
The son was one of those types. If you've ever happened to flip on like ESPN2 at 11 o'clock at night on a Tuesday and it's cornhole,
Yeah.
he looked like those guys. Like when we do it, we're like doing the long swing of the arm, and
Like you're
he's
taking
just,
a step
we're
forward
taking
and
a
everything.
step
yeah.
forward like we're slow pitch softball. This kid is standing like a statue and just flicking his wrist in the hole, flick, in the hole, flick, in the
The
hole.
worst part was the kid was super nice and super humble.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like, I want to hate you, but you're a nice kid and you're humble about this and you are murdering me.
He eventually cracked the spoil.
He did
did,
one. He did laugh
eventually.
once. He was just focused, laser
Yep.
focused, but a nice kid.
You guys got absolutely boat raced.
I don't think we played cornhole for the rest of the night.
I don't think so.
No, it came out Sunday.
We might have burned the cornhole boards after that. We're like, we're tired.
Yeah. So that was fun. Then we run into somebody.
No, he runs into us.
Yeah.
So I'm the one that he originally stopped. So we are waiting around. It's like 9 o'clock. We knew fireworks were anywhere from 9 to 9:30. It's starting to get dark, so we're all getting prepped for fireworks. Kyle's got the speakers going. Cohan's doing the
Juices are flowing. Saturday night, the juices are flowing.
Yeah, by this point,
we haven't even
Average Joe has showed up,
ruined our night.
just brought the fucking heat with them.
So this
he
kid
brought
shows up.
over 400 Jello shots.
Kid shows up with a lunchbox full of Jello shots.
Yep.
Granted, they were the little mini guys, but doesn't matter.
It was strong.
They were still pretty good. So he brings over a little cooler, which gets polished off pretty quickly. And I think Ronan was like, oh, we brought that cooler. He comes back with another one.
Yeah.
Well, it had layers too, so it'd be like 3 stacks of Jello shots, or
That
probably
piece of
like
cardboard.
30 or
Yeah.
50 of them. And then there was one of those freezer bags like you
Yeah.
have, and he just moves that, and there's 3 times as more underneath it. We're just like,
It was like the never ending.
fuck.
It had a false floor for Christ's
Yeah.
sake. So we had already, we're having the Jello shots. I
Playing
I stayed the
cornhole.
fuck away from them. I think I only had like 4. I know
same,
we counted the armrest cup holder that Norm was putting his empties in the next morning, and there was 15 in there.
yeah.
And that's just what filled that. There was more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was just in that location. I had done them around the area as well.
So we're hanging out. We're waiting for the fireworks. Like Kyle said, juices are flowing. Cohan's doing the one dance he knows how to do to every song.
he was probably 3 high noons in by
He's
then.
got that little shuffle he's got. It's just
Yep.
the one
Yep.
move. He's doing
Having
the
a
one.
good time.
He's doing the one thing too much. Music's going. Dogs are out. We're having fun. And we had seen Zane Smith was cruising around earlier. You can always tell, like, there's golf carts buzzing around all weekend, and usually it's like the cops or security. But you can tell they're shitty golf carts. Zane Smith went by in some chrome wheeled HID headlights, fresh white paint. He went
No, it was
by.
black. It was black.
Was
Gloss
black.
black.
He went by and we saw him, and I think I or you or somebody
I
was
was
like,
like,
"Hey, Zane!"
Zane!
And he like turned around and waved and just kept driving.
Yeah, shouts to Joe's wife because she's the one that made him.
Yeah, well, you're the one that distributed them. That's called the what was it? You moved them across state lines for distribution.
Yeah.
You were the one
Possession-
muling them and shoveling them down my
Possession with
throat.
intent to sell.
Yeah, so
He tied me down and made me eat 15 of them in a week.
You liked it.
Oh, in an hour, I mean.
So we're standing there, whatever, and we see a golf cart. What?
Just go.
Okay. So we're sitting there hanging out, and we see HIDs coming on a golf cart, and we're like, this could be somebody. So I was I don't remember who was standing with me. I forget who it was. So we're watching it, and this
It might have been the average Joe, to be honest.
might have been. So this
Oh,
golf
it
cart.
was Just Boss.
It was Just Bus.
Oh, all right.
So this golf cart pulls up, and it's one of those like 6-seater golf carts, and there's an older gentleman driving it, and then a young, like 3 or 4 younger guys with him. And so we start talking. He just pulls up, and he's like, "Oh, we're looking for a party." I'm like, "Well, you found one." And he instantly goes with, "Who's your favorite driver?" I'm like, "I don't really have one." He goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "All of my guys retired." He goes, "Well, who was that?" I'm like, I'm going to start rattling names off. I'm like, Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Junior, bunch of guys. And he goes, "Well, who replaced Junior?" I'm like, Alex Bowman. "Well, what, do you not like him?" And I'm like, no, I really like
But
him.
then, same conversation he was having with Just Boss, Alex Bowman came up and he said, "Oh, Bowman's a hack."
Well, no, he said that a couple times. He said it
Yeah.
to me too. So he's asking me what I like about Bowman. I bring up like the Loudon story with the fire extinguisher, and we were there and saw it, and that's the first time I knew who he was. I like that he's into the animal adoption, and I told him about how we all went to H2O together. Well, not together, but we were all there at the same time. Like we've always liked him. So then Just Bus comes over. It does the same thing to Just Bus.
Yep.
And he looks at me and he said, "Well, why aren't you wearing Bowman gear?" And I was like, I don't know. Like my wife's got a Bowman hat in the trailer. And at this point she came out and he's like, "Where's your Bowman hat? I heard you have one in the camper." So she runs back and grabs it. Goes, "Who the fuck is this guy?" So then he starts walking around and talking to people. And I ended up talking to the younger guys in the golf cart who, according to them, a bunch of them were the bus drivers, like the guys that drive the motor coaches for the drivers. I forget who they said. I think one of them he said even was Joe Gibbs when it burned at Loudon.
Yeah.
He was like, the one that caught on fire at Loudon? Yeah, he was driving that. I was like, what? But this older gentleman is still an enigma to me. He's telling people that Bowman's a hack, and he keeps bringing up Bowman and everything. And he looks across the crowd and sees one Ronan Hickey wearing a 48 hat.
So then Dan goes, Ronan, come over here and talk to this guy.
Because I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck this guy is.
But all that's in the back of my head is, show off the Irish guy again.
Because it's not the first time.
No, it's not. Also, we've had
nor the last.
many Jello shots.
Yeah, we are.
Many
we're,
beers.
We're not like drunk yet, but we're tuned up. We're tuned.
We're flowing.
Yeah.
We're liquidated. So
Nice.
I walk over and there's this dude in a white shirt and he was just like, I like your hat. And I was like, thanks. They're on sale in Hendrix and they have really good sizes. That's the only reason I bought it. He goes, you're not a 48 fan? I was like, no, Truex. And he just looked at me and gave me this death stare. So I kind of drank my beer and left.
So around this point, the fireworks start. They stayed for the whole fireworks. He's in my videos, taking videos of the fireworks.
Yep.
They hung out pretty much the whole time. And then I walked away after the fireworks to go check on the dogs. And this is when y'all found out who he was. Because I wasn't there for this.
Well, no, he didn't tell me. I think I talked to you and like, I think that guy's Bowman's camper driver. And like, we're trying to figure it out. I'm not anywhere near this dude. And by the time I was like, that's cool, we should talk to him about Bowman, he like packed up and left.
Yeah, just drives away.
The point of the story, the piece de resistance, is after all of this, we come to find out it is Bowman's dad.
Yeah, so he showed people his hard card that said, I think his name's Sean Bowman.
Yep.
Right on his hard card. We were hanging out and watched the Pocono fireworks and drank some beers we were giving him Jello shots.
Yep.
He had a couple Jello
taking the Jello
shots.
shots.
Got to yell at him for throwing him on the ground.
Yeah.
I found out, I forget who he told he was Bowman's. I think it was Murphy. I
Yes.
think he told Murph, and Murph's like, I don't even fucking like NASCAR, so I don't care. And he told me, and as Bowman's dad's driving away in the golf cart, I was like, wait, I love Bowman. And the guy just like waves and drives away. And I like looked at every single one of you guys in the eyes. I was like, I will never forgive you for this.
And none of us knew what was going on.
If it was me, the guy would have been like, you're Alex Bowman's #1 fan. I should call him.
Yeah.
And like all you guys are like, no, I don't even fucking like Bowman. Dan, who's a Bowman fan, is like, take him or leave him.
I didn't say that. I said I
Ronan's
liked him.
like, fuck Bowman, Truex all the way. Ronan's
no.
like, hey,
Norm
man,
was
I'm
destroyed.
from Connecticut. That's one of Truex's home states.
Yeah, no, I did not say I'll take him or leave him. I said I was a Bowman fan.
I was
but
too busy shoveling Jello shots in and DJing, so
Yeah,
I wasn't involved in any of
I was
this.
keeping Average Joe in my sight so I could keep an eye on that lunchbox all night. So I never even got close to this conversation. I found out after, and I was pissed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then, but like I said, the whole time in the back of my head, I'm like, because you're right, I'm like, is this guy like his bus driver? But I'm like,
Yeah,
the
because
age.
I think you said that to me, and Murph overheard you, and he was like, "Oh no, that was his dad." And we both looked at him like,
What?
Dan's like, "Oh, that makes sense." I was like, "Hold the fuck on."
Yeah, I said it made sense because he kept injecting Bowman into everything, every conversation. And I remember thinking to myself, not out loud, this guy's old enough to be his dad. And I saw that they all had hard cards on. So I'm like, this guy is somebody. But I didn't want to just be like, come
Who
out.
are you?
Yeah, who are you? You know?
So that was that. We got to see the fireworks. Obviously, unbelievable fireworks display as they always do.
What'd you think?
than
The new guy. What did you think?
Immense. Hot.
Well, then when the fireballs go off, you fucking feel them.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
we made, or I don't know if you guys made him, but Ronan was on the camper watching him.
Yeah.
No, he scurried up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went up to. I have a video on my phone where obviously I was just holding it, and it's 7.5 minutes long, and I stopped it.
Too early.
No, I got the very end where the tree,
But you didn't
Car
get the whole,
bombs went
you
off.
didn't get turn one on
No.
fire.
and you could feel that.
Dude,
Yeah.
we are, 2 football fields away, if not more.
Yeah.
It felt hotter than the campfire standing 5 feet from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So we've talked about it on here before, and this is the only place I've ever seen them in person. Apparently, they're like 50-gallon drums of diesel that they just explode.
And they add more every year because I feel like the first year they lit off 2 right after
Yes.
turn 1. And then this year, it was like 3 or 4 after turn 1. Then they lit them off in sequence in turn 1. And then the whole
Yeah.
whole like turn
There was
went off.
So the finale goes off. They light 3 of these bombs off right where they're shooting the fireworks off. Then a random one goes off. Then one way over here, like halfway through turn 1 by itself, goes off. And then the entire fucking turn blows up with just flames.
Bananas.
It was unbelievable. Get rid of those. The fireworks themselves were insane.
Yeah.
I reckon it was 15 minutes easily.
More than that.
Oh, yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I have one great video where one of the giant ones, one of the big regular fireworks goes off right as the beat drops and whatever song was playing.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to send me that. Oh, you did send me that.
I
one.
did send
Yeah.
you it,
I don't know. Was it Average Joe has the video of you like dancing right in front of him?
No, he's doing. That was when we were all screaming the Kevin James "Gentlemen, Start Your Engines"
Yeah.
right as the fireworks were going off. And
Fantastic fireworks show.
As
unbelievable.
always.
And we have the best goddamn seats.
Yeah, we got to give special shout outs to Pocono just in general. They put on such a great time for the fans. It's
is
got
one
to
of-
be in the top 5, easy top
So-
5, maybe top 3 best places to camp.
I don't know if you heard MRN talking about it. They had a segment at one point, and they said that Pocono is sneakily becoming one of the top 3 to 5 places to camp in the infield, especially because the guy, I forget who they were talking to, but they were talking about how it has everything. If you want to party your ass off, it can be Talladega Boulevard. If you want to bring the family and go to the playground and bring them into the paddock and see race cars, and there's a dog park, there's a big ass playground, there's the fan zone, which during the day, apparently I missed this, there was a jelly ball, like the gel blasters. There was a place you could go shoot each other.
Oh, no way.
I saw that on
I didn't see
Monday. I was
that.
like,
I saw there was
fuck.
like an inflatable like obstacle course or
That's
something.
the
It's
jelly
probably in
balls.
that.
You could have
Oh,
gone in there.
okay.
They give you paintball masks, and you could run around and shoot each other.
Yeah.
Which
There
I'm
was
really
the,
mad we missed that.
Wood carving.
There was the wood carver. There was axe throwing. But if you want, you can make it whatever you want. If you want to go to bed early and have your family there, you can do that. You want to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning playing Fortunate Son and pounding beers? We did that.
Yeah, we didn't get talked to by security once.
Nope.
We stayed up late every night.
Yeah.
Nope. It's a wonderful experience. Like I feel like most of the tracks are, but like Talladega, probably not going to bring my 3-year-old there. No.
We were pretty well contained as
We
well
were.
because we had the 2 speakers between the campers and your truck and Cohen's truck facing each other.
Yeah.
So it was loud where we were.
Yeah,
but
we
if you
built our
walked
own
away-
little rectangle.
I walked out. You could barely hear the music like 50 yards away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
After
Saturday night-
that, we then shoot down to the concert stage.
some of us do.
They RIP M80.
Yeah, so we've always joked about M80 being the Saturday night headliner and how they're terrible. They got moved to Sunday afternoon in the fan zone. So they had another, cover band, whatever you want to call it.
Steal the Sky.
Steal the Sky, which I think they've played Pocono before, just like on Friday night or
Yeah.
Friday, whatever.
We kind of caught the end of it. We
Right,
were
we
probably
went
only
down
there for like an hour.
Yeah,
We
we're
went
there
down
for-
at
yeah.
10:30.
But the funny
And they
thing
went to
was,
11:30.
we just went at the back to hang out, and then realized they're good. Let's get up further. And as we're kind of going through the crowd, I tap a guy on the shoulder in a white shirt, going, "Sorry, can I just get past you?" And he looks at me. It's Bowman's dad again.
Was it?
No, I didn't hear
I
that.
didn't know about that.
Yeah, he was at the concert. He just looked at me with the Bowman hat and just shook his head and walked away.
That's awesome.
So they left. Me and Steph were deciding if she was going to go and then put the dogs away. And then she's like, "No, I'm just going to hang out." So I was 10 minutes behind you guys. I get on my scooter and I haul ass down there. Also mention scooters, great purchase.
Yeah.
The scooters were way easier than the bikes, I think, this year.
Yeah.
So that's a new thing. Although next year I might get the electric one.
Walmart ones can not go over 11 miles an hour safely.
Nope.
No.
You get
I
it.
will
Sketchy.
say
Can't
the
wobble.
scooters are nice. I mean, the bikes were cool the first year because we rode around the entire track.
Yeah.
That was cool. But for short distances, I think scooters are just easier.
And also the fact you can get to the fan zone and just throw it under the moonshine trailer and
Well,
it'll
some
be there when you
can.
come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can because
I
you
had to
brought
hide mine.
You brought a big fancy one.
Brought the Cadillac.
Yeah.
And then Kyle was shocked that I could ride 2 of them. He's still mad at me for that.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive,
But,
actually.
so I got down. I was no more than 10, 15 minutes behind you. I blasted down there on mine. And I'm like, I should be early enough. I should catch them before Cohan makes everyone go up to the railing because it's the one concert he goes to a year.
You couldn't find Kyle's duck?
By the time I got there, it was dark. And you know what concerts are like. There's lights flashing this
In your
way.
face. You can't
and
see
I'm
people's
looking
faces.
this way, and it's hard to see. So I kind of did a couple laps of the back, kind of circled around the sides. I'm looking for anybody I know. I can't find anybody. I texted you guys. I'm using Find My iPhone to look for Kyle's location. That didn't work.
No.
And
nothing was working.
I just resorted to, fuck it, I'll just stand here and maybe I'll run into him. So I stood there Ended up talking to these guys from Canada who were super chill. They saw my hair. I actually took a bunch of pictures with them because they love my hair. Ended up sitting there talking to them for like 45 minutes or half an hour or whatever. One of them followed the show. Like, they were super cool. One of them was a big Chris Bell fan, and he remembered the Loudon video. He goes, "That was you guys?" I was like, "Remember when Christopher Bell made that comment about the gutless engines?" He's like, "Yeah, that was hilarious." I'm like, I showed him, like, I have the original video on my phone. I took that video, and he's like, "No way!" Like, he was all excited. And
That's
shit.
awesome.
So then the concert, and we can get to you guys, but that's
Well,
finally.
yeah, I mean, we're up front. We're just having a good time. Jello shots are flowing. Joe go to hell.
Losing our voices, screaming.
Joe should be brought up on federal charges.
Yeah. He just kept
Good guy.
tapping, passing them to me, and then I'm passing them to everybody else, and we had a great time. We're singing around.
But
And
at the start of the night when he started giving us Jello shots, it was bright, and you open it and he goes, "Right, the green ones are lime. The yellow ones with L on them are lemon. The yellow ones that don't have anything written on them are pineapple." So you're like, if I stated the same ones, I know what I'm drinking and I'm not going to mix drinks. But then when you're at the concert, you're just getting handed Jello shots. You don't know what they are.
yeah, and you're not even asking.
No.
So lots of Jello shots later, lots of singing, dancing, drink beers.
But this band, I will say,
They did a good job.
Blew M80 out. I mean, they played. So you go watch M80, and oh, Justin,
We're not quoting that, but that was good.
you go watch M80, and you're gonna hear it's all covers, but it's exactly what the name sounds like. It's gonna be AC/DC and Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith. It's all the 80s, which we love 80s music, but that's all it is. This band, in the short amount of time I was there, they played Blink-182,
Killers,
the
Cranberries,
Killers, the Cranberries, Rage Against the Machine,
Metallica.
They
There was
were
a
all
lot
over-
of like early 2000s like pop punk stuff.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
all over the
stuff.
map, and it was awesome.
They
And
did a really
and
good
They did
job.
a really good. Like, they didn't sound terrible. They sounded really good
No,
actually for
no.
what it was.
I disagree, but
So
I enjoyed it.
We had fun, and then we start to head back to the campsite,
this is
and
when-
this is when one Ronan thinks that I can give him a piggyback.
Ronan is not
Wait,
small.
wait,
for
wait,
those
wait.
not watching, Ronan is a very stocky gentleman.
In American money, I'm 220.
No, I
Money?
just meant, like,
Wait,
you're a solid gentleman. Like, you're not.
Strong.
Yeah, you're strong.
Strong.
Like, you're
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
tree.
Dense, I guess.
Dense.
Both physically and mentally. Go on.
Hey, I was walking up behind Kyle. I was like, "Think you could give me a hitty back? My legs are tired." And he went, "Go for it." And I jump up on his back and immediately turn Kyle into one chain.
Yeah, he's all one chains
yeah,
now.
yeah. Now I'm one chain because Ronan snapped my chain off. I didn't even feel it nor notice
You
it.
said you heard it, right?
I didn't hear it. He did.
I saw it. I picked it up, and then was the chain still hanging? around
Chain
your
was
neck?
still hanging
Yeah,
around my
it was
neck,
just
yeah.
your little tree fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
And then I started feeling really bad for.
Oh, that's also now the 6th or 7th time
I
I've snapped
felt
it.
really bad for about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was-
You
Yeah,
were
Yeah, but
already
then you
not
remembered 3 hours earlier when Kyle was bragging about having a personal jeweler and this and that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he'll get
And the fact that he
fixed.
sent
It'll
his
be no
personal
problem.
driver Joffrey to the airport to collect me.
Yeah.
Yep, damn right.
He'll send his
So-
personal driver to his personal jeweler and he'll get it all shined
This
up.
is when
better than
I
new.
found you guys because I was still standing at the stage and I was like, the concert's over, everyone's clearing out. I'm like, I have to see him now. Well, I didn't realize you guys just basically exited stage left. You didn't like come back through the fan zone.
No,
and
we
leave?
did because all our stuff was behind the hot
No,
dog
we
cart,
walked.
wasn't it?
We walked.
You
we
guys
didn't scooter
walked.
up.
You guys walked over there. So I'm like, fuck, I don't see him. This place is getting emptier. I still don't see him. I'm like, let me check Kyle's location again. And it finally updated to live, and you guys were now like behind the stage, but on the road course. I'm like, fuck, they're gone. So I hop on the road course. I start hauling ass. And the only reason I knew it was you guys is because Joe Soul had his scooter, and he had the underglow on his. And I'm like,
Yep.
motherfuckers. Chase him down. Chased you guys down.
You found
Finally,
us.
I was alone for like an hour. I was like, this is so, like, I'm enjoying myself. This concert's great, but a lot more fun if I was with my friends.
Kicks the ground.
Oh, and then I
But,
tackled Cohan because he tried to steal my scooter.
Yeah, that's right. Then head back to the campsite, hung out for quite a while more, and Dan was the bad influence this night.
No.
Just one more time.
Sir, that was revenge
Ma'am.
for Friday night? Was it
Oh, just
night?
Friday night, not revenge for like all the other times I've done it to
Friday
you?
night, like, I'm ready to pack it up, and he's like, come on, let's have one more. I'm like, dude, I'm like, I have like a little bit of this beer left. I don't know if I'm feeling. Come on, just one more. I'm going to the cooler. I'm getting you one. Fine.
so-
So Saturday night, it is like 1:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Kyle's looking at me. He's like, I think it's ready to pack it up. And I'm like, how about you have one more? Because I'm ready for one more. Now, granted, I had stayed clear of the Jello shots. So I was feeling really good, but I was not where these gentlemen were.
Yeah.
So I look at Kyle and he's like, no, I can't. I'm like, well, I'm going to go grab one. So I go grab one, come walking back over with one for Kyle and one for Ronan.
I was like,
Did
son
you?
of a
I gave
bitch.
you one.
Yeah.
I came over with 3 beers. I gave you one. You were still talking to CJ.
I do not remember.
You were entrapped.
Yes.
So wrapped up that.
You guys-
that was Saturday night.
You finished that beer. You guys went to bed. I was the last one to stroll in the camper. I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh God.
It wasn't that far behind you guys. The two of you went in at like 1:30, quarter of 2. Norm went in at like
1.
no, you were. Oh yeah, you were the first one. You went in at 1. You guys went in like 1:30, quarter of 2. I just sat there, was shooting the shit with like Joe and Just Bus, and I mean there was like maybe 4 people left when I was like,
Yeah.
I should probably pack it up. And I looked and it was like 2:50. I was like, fuck.
Jesus, I didn't know you were up that late.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So then Sunday.
No, before the fun begins. Someone in the camper, I think it was maybe Steph, woke up because the dogs got up. It is 9:30. She gets up. Nobody's awake. Now, granted, these two, Ronan and Kyle, are early risers. You guys have been up pretty early every time we woke up, y'all were already awake.
Like 7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
So
morning, yeah.
9:30 rolls around. I look out. Like I kind of roll over in bed and look
I
out,
was the
and
first one outside.
No one's moving. No, this is 9:30. This is the first wake up.
Oh.
So we wake up at 9:30. Steph takes the dogs out, comes back in without even asking. Steph walks around, hands all 4 of us a Gatorade
Yeah.
and aspirin because
Yeah.
she knew. She fucking knew
Yeah.
what we were going through.
Yeah.
We all pass back out. We are awoken at 10:30 to a large rumble of thunder. You got up real fast. You were out the door
Yep.
instantly.
I was worried about her shit.
I kind of stirred, and by this point, Steph had the radar up on her phone, and she's like, hey, there's something big coming. And I was like, all right, let's get up. So me and Ronan get up. We shoot outside.
I went outside and it is dark
I mean, it was black.
and it's coming.
So Kyle puts all of our chairs under the pop-up, to keep them dry, because we're thinking quick storm.
Big shouts to the Pocono guys, our other buddies from PA. They did a lot of cleanup before I even got
did.
out there.
They're up early usually, so
Yeah.
they saw it coming before we did. Kyle runs out, puts all our chairs under the pop-up. Me and Ronan go out, and we're standing there. It's now starting to drip. We're like, all right, it's raining.
And then out of
So
nowhere,
Steph goes, you should probably put the awning in on the camper. But me and Ronan were standing under the awning, and I didn't want to get wet.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let's keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. 30 seconds later, this gust of wind comes through. So I yell at Steph to put the awning in. Me and Ronan are holding the awnings down while it's rolling up to keep it from ripping off. In this process, I watch my pop-up of 12, 13 years just get folded like a fucking paper bag. Like it just didn't even stand a chance. One gust hit it and it just collapsed.
I was over on the other side of our campsite with the other guys holding on to the one easy up that wasn't staked down. Ours, Dan's, was staked down, and big shouts to you for how you staked that thing down, because those had to be 30-mile-an-hour gusts, if not
It
more.
didn't move. It broke the feet.
The thing was getting obliterated by this wind, and it's just slowly snap.
And then, but the feet, when we cleaned it up the next day,
We're still attached.
The feet were broken, but the stakes were still in the ground. It ripped the feet off of the
Yeah,
stake.
at that
So,
point,
yeah.
there's nothing you could do.
No, it was totaled. So we get the awning in.
Then we decide to try and save the easy.
So no, yeah, we're getting the awning in. At this point, we are getting absolutely pressure washed with rain. I look up as the awning's folding in. It's got like a foot left. I look up to make sure it's okay, right as what felt like 5 gallons of water poured off of it directly into my face.
Yep.
At this point, I'm soaked. Don't care. So me and Ronan, he's also soaked. Because weren't you mad at me for giving you the rain side, and then you watched that happen?
Yeah, you gave me the rain side, and I was like, he's looking after his camper. I'll give out to him later. And as I turn around to kind of give out to you, it just dumps on your head. It's like, I feel better now.
So me and Ronan walk over. We try to pick up what's left of my pop-up, which is already full of water. The wind is fighting us, and I still don't know why we tried. Like, what were we doing?
Yeah, I didn't know what you were doing.
So then we walk over to you guys to help you guys hold the other tents down because it's still howling. My flag,
It's raining sideways.
I have a flagpole on the front of my camper tied to the trailer. Like, it's got a mount on the trailer. It's a fiberglass flagpole. It was damn near U-shaped. Like, the flags were almost touching the roof of the camper.
Yeah.
And we are just holding the shit down, and we're all like laughing because it's just at this point
We're in the shit, so
everything
whatever.
is totaled. We're all soaked.
There
Everything
was
is soaked.
one armchair in the middle of the tent that was like a cloth covering one. It was like, how is that not wet yet? So everyone just starts throwing their phones and their wallets on
Yeah.
that because that's staying dry.
Yep. So then the wind kind of chills out, but it's still absolutely monsooning. Like it was buckets of rain, but the wind had calmed down. It was just the
we didn't have to hold things anymore.
Yeah, the initial blast of the storm was the wind. So
and lightning.
And there was a little bit of lightning too. Yeah, there was. Not a lot, but enough.
A lot of booms.
A lot of booms. So somebody, I think it was Kohan, grabs the soap.
And me and Kohan go out and stand in the middle of the road and have a shower.
I mean, there is inches of water in the road course. Like I think I took the video. You took the video of me stomping around in it, my Crocs, and then there was
I took the video of you doing a snow angel in the water.
That was after that. I was like, I'm going to do a rain angel.
Oh, I think I get that one too. Yeah.
And these two start showering. Then everybody else realizes that's a good idea because
I showered.
Not only was it pouring, but there was also that nice funnel of water sheeting off of Ace's awning that worked
we
as
also
a rinse.
Had
the buckets,
12 buckets for big beer pong that were now full of water. So when you did wash your hair, you could just pick up a bucket and rinse it off.
Yeah, the water wasn't very clean. I realized after I dumped it on you, I was like, that water was nasty.
Yeah, half of them had like old Jello shots.
Yeah. I mean, it rained for half hour, 40 minutes. I don't even know.
Yeah, it was brutal. Like that might be one of the strongest gusts I've seen happen that
it was
fast.
Ridiculous. I mean, we looked at it last night. Joe Spinelli Average Joe had videos on his phone. He has one video before it's even raining. He took that at 10:27. The next video is the one of my flagpole almost snapping in half. That was at like 10:31. It was in
it happened
minutes.
so quick.
Then I turned to Dan just as it kind of stops raining. Dan, I think they may have lost the track.
that broke me out of my like sad mopey stage because I was fucking freezing. Like I was wet, I was cold. I still had my glasses on, so like I couldn't see anything because they were covered in water.
I was out in the road course trying to teach everyone step up 2 moves.
Yes.
Spinning around, stomping in the water.
The moment of that whole thing was while we're all holding on to pop-ups, wind is howling. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you hear Creed start playing, and I turn around and Ant's just dying laughing while looking at his phone, putting it on. All of a sudden, we're sitting there, we're all holding the tents down, and "Can You Take Me Higher" is just belting out of the speaker.
Yeah, I think that's what actually did my voice in more than anything was that moment.
I love one of the videos Joe got. I don't know who it was. I think it was Murph. Like in the middle of the windstorm, you just hear, "Is that all you got, motherfucker?" Like as shit's blowing around. Like it was the Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump on top of the ship moment.
You call this a storm?
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. Like it's just
and we tell you all these details to say, we actually had firsthand experience. So obviously a lot of the news today and yesterday was the hell traffic it was to get in there. And what did they do? People are complaining about it. Pocono needs to fix this. This was absolutely not on them.
No.
The storm that came was brutal and fast and lightning and the whole 9 yards. So they had to send all of their employees to seek shelter. You can't leave people outside.
Someone died at Pocono, 15, 20 years ago? Somebody died at Pocono?
2010, I think.
In a parking lot.
They
got struck by lightning in a parking lot. Pocono is where a lot of those 30-minute lightning hold rules come from because someone got hit by lightning in the parking lot.
Yeah. So everyone had to seek shelter, and this place was murdered for 45 minutes.
And in that 45 minutes, traffic's just backing up and backing up.
And that's, when that hit, we would have been at New Hampshire at that time.
Yes.
Like we would have just got there.
Yep.
So that's the time when people that are going to tailgate for the day are getting there. And that's the busiest time of any track is that, 9
Initial
to
push.
10:30 window. And that's when everyone just got murdered. So obviously they have to close the gates. They have to close the tunnels. They have to put all their staff inside. Stand still.
Joe Soul said he was hiding in the.
He was in the tunnel.
in the tunnel,
the track crossing tunnel that goes under the front stretch.
Yeah.
They were hiding in there.
He did. He said they were
during the
walking through it when it hit, and they wouldn't. He said they wouldn't let anyone out.
Yeah. So a lot of the other podcasts that I listened to today were like, "Oh, this is a logistical nightmare. This is blah blah blah." Absolutely not.
I
this
still
hit.
think it's a logistical nightmare. This did not help.
No,
But
no.
according to sources and people that were coming in from outside, there were like 2-lane roads that were still just one lane in, 1 lane out.
It's not
Like
an
they
easy.
didn't like New Hampshire. We know going in and out, it's 5 lanes wide and only one's going the wrong direction.
Right.
Here they still had roads operating in normal flow.
It's a tough.
They didn't adjust.
The
for
logistics
the race
of this track are tough. It is in the middle of nowhere, and it is 2-lane roads in and out. Loudon's lucky because 106, even though it is a 2-lane road, you have big breakdown lanes on either side, so you can make it four wide, and then one lane going the other way. Pocono, it's just normal back roads with like no shoulder, no breakdown lane.
Supposedly there was an accident on the
I heard
main
there was an
road out
accident,
front
too. Yep.
that backed traffic up for a while. There was an emergency. We don't know any of the details on this. It's just third-hand sources were telling us there was an emergency on the infield.
Somebody in the fan zone had an emergency
I'm
that they
sure
had to deal with.
They shut down the tunnel for that. So there was a bunch of stuff happening, but it still sounds like they still didn't have their shit figured out outside. None of it helped, but I mean, the fact that there was an hour delay because of the storm, probably add 30 minutes onto that because of lightning, for people to still be miles away in bumper-to-bumper traffic when stage 3 started, there's deeper issues. But yeah, they were fighting an uphill battle.
I think it was a perfect storm of shit that if they didn't have it set up correctly in perfect conditions, this was going to expose it.
Right. If you weren't already...
And this was the worst time for it to
scenario.
hit. Like, and I think it's the timing. There's only so much they can do. You know, is there more they could have done better? Almost guaranteed. There always is. But they're limited in the first place, especially with like when you leave the tunnel, you take a right, and there was all that construction right there, so that was even like tighter.
Yep.
You know, with what they're up against in the first place and the time that it hit, I think is just killed it. So it sucks, but it is what it is. They did get the race in on time, which was awesome. So we got to watch the race from atop the camper because we don't try to battle the sold out crowds. Place was packed.
Yeah, I mean, they said they sold out grandstands, sold out the suites. The infield was sold out. The outside the track camping was sold out. You couldn't get a ticket. They said, I think
3,700 campsites.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday night. They came over all the social media and they said, you know, there will be no tickets available at the windows tomorrow. We are sold out, which is ridiculous. And Pocono is one of those tracks, much like Loudon, that going down to one date, as much as it sucks for us because we like going, it has helped that track so much. It has immensely helped those tracks because they've turned it into this massive one-time-a-year event.
Yep, for sure. So yeah, the race gets going green. Ty Gibbs leading the field to green. Willie B, other one on the front row. Got to watch most of it from the top of the camper.
Pretty much. I mean, I stayed up there, I think all of stage 1 and part of stage 2. Not much to write home about. It was just kind of a typical Pocono. I mean, Christ, Ty Gibbs ran away.
Ty Gibbs was looking really good that first stage. He was out to a 2.5 second lead, give or take, at a time.
It was like 3.5, 4 almost at one point.
Until
Noah Gregson went around to lap 14.
Yep, all by himself.
Yep, all by his onesies.
Said he was super loose, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and then he just lost it in one right in front of us.
This is another detriment to really short practices.
Yeah.
Because he said when they went out for practice and qualifying, obviously you only have 20 minutes of practice. It's like 4 laps there. He said they were super tight for practice and qualifying, so they did a bunch of stuff overnight to loosen it up for the race or whatever their plan was. And unfortunately, you get into the race and now it's my first time in traffic. It's my first time running 5 consecutive laps. He said his car was unbearably
Also,
loose.
not to mention the track got pressure washed.
Correct.
So it was a green track, you know.
Yeah. And we get to the end of stage 1 with Ronan's boy, Mr. Martin Truex Jr., taking the first stage in the Ty Gibbs car.
I thought it was a Bobby Labonte car.
Oh,
He's the Truex. I've said it. He's the one guy that it completely blows my mind when he's in the interstate car.
I hate it.
Yeah.
The other 3, I can adapt to it. It feels obviously the most natural on the 18, aka the 54.
Yeah.
But when it's on Denny or the 20, I'm like, okay, I can picture this. But when it's on Truex, I'm just like, that's not Bass Pro.
Cannot
What the
compute.
hell's
that's
going
not
on?
fishing.
cannot compute. So MTJ takes first stage, followed by Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Willie B, Chase Elliott, Bowman, Logano, Kozlowski, Bell, and Eric Jones. Your points getters.
Eric Jones had some speed.
Jones had a good day going.
Yeah, absolutely. What do we got? Not a whole ton to write home about in the second stage either. I mean, we had Ross Chastain getting into turn 3 and ending his day pretty quick.
They were saying that he was it was really just one of those next gen things where he was tried to fight. He was pushing the tire and he just stepped over that edge a little bit. And it looked very eerily similar to Kurt Busch's wreck. He didn't back it into the fence as much. He just went up and kind of tail slapped it.
He hit pretty early off the turn. Too.
Yeah. But that ended his day.
He was originally saying that he thought he lost steering.
I'm mad.
Like how weird the car snapped out on him.
I'm mad because we just talked about it a couple weeks ago, how I never like I never really scan on my scanner because I never get anything.
Yeah.
I had accidentally hit the scan button and it ended up on Chastain's and they were talking. So I was like, oh, I'll listen to this for a minute. And I heard the spotter say, he sounded like he got really like downtrodden, like, all right, just get it back going here. But we were so far away from where it happened, I didn't really know what was going on. So I quickly scanned away from it, went back to MRN, and then they're like talking about Chastain coming down the front stretch because I don't think MRN saw him hit the wall because one of them was like, oh, it looks like Chastain has a problem, and he comes into one and just goes up and rides the wall. And I was like, son of a bitch, I was listening to his scanner when he crashed. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, he pancaked that thing.
Yeah, he smacked that thing pretty good. We see some fuel conservation during the second stage, but ultimately Norm's favorite driver, Mr. James Dennis Hamlin, takes the second stage.
That's Dan's favorite driver, dude. Dan's all in.
No, you're in the fan club. It's behind you. It's
Right there.
All right. I guess I'm a Dan Hamlin fan this week.
I'm all out.
Followed by Elliott, Kozlowski, Byron, Jones. Great round out of that 43 car. Larson, Bowman, Bell, Bowman being Ronan's favorite guy now, Bell, Logano, and Tyler Reddick for the second stage.
Yeah, I guess I applaud NBC for giving Bowman so much credit before the race, but I guess during the race, they were like acting like none of the other Hendrick cars existed. Yeah. They were just like highlighting them like every stage. I was like, that's cool, but like a lot of people on Twitter are like, guess he doesn't have teammates anymore.
Yeah. I think I had gotten off the roof at this point because I had problems to deal with.
Whoops.
Foreshadowing. It was getting hot in here.
Yeah, it got really hot in the camper. Kyle, what happened with that? That was weird.
So it's crazy. Dan broke the roof of his camper, and then I was too close.
So our camper has this weird, we noticed it last year, the way back of it is kind of I want to say a soft spot. It's just like there's not a lot of bracing there.
You could see where the bracing is. I think it did get soft.
We bent it last year, not knowing that was I've looked it up in the past, and apparently it's a known problem with these, that there is a bit of a spot there that you're like, maybe you shouldn't stand there.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of weakened it last year, and then we realized it, so we stayed away from there.
So I'm sitting on the back of the camper.
Which you were fine where you were.
Yeah.
And I had reminded these guys at the beginning of the weekend, don't go in that spot. Stay to the edges. Once you get to the middle front of the camper, you can go wherever you want. The bracing's fine.
Yep. So Dan's got a very serious face on watching the race or whatever. And I'm trying...
Let
me talk.
No, I couldn't remember. I didn't know why, but you're right. You were trying to make me laugh.
And Dan just looks real serious. So like I rolled back and went into like paint me in your French girl's position.
I was texting you about the guy next to us. We were doing the notes app. So I was typing, and you were doing the thing where you're trying to get me to laugh, and I looked at you, and I was like, Kyle, I'm trying to type something. I'm not even looking at you because I have my sunglasses on, so I didn't know if you thought I was looking at you.
Yeah, he gave me a serious reply, so I tried to roll towards him and do it again, and then he's like, don't go that way. I was like, ah!
No, and then you're like, well, my body weight's spread out. Well, what Kyle didn't realize, and we didn't realize, we saw this happen a couple times last year, where when the roof would flex, it would kind of move the air conditioner, and we heard something in there hitting some. That's the noise it made. So happened a couple times this year, happened a couple times last year. If you step in the wrong spot, you'll just hear like that, like quick thing. Well, Kyle is now stop, dropping, and rolling across the roof of the camper towards the air conditioner, putting all his weight in the wrong spots.
Yeah.
And it flexed the air conditioner, and we just hear, and nothing's happening anymore. Yeah. This happened in the middle of stage 2, I think. So Steph comes out. She's like, the air conditioner isn't working. I'm like, I heard it. I know. I'm like, reset it. And we heard the air conditioner turn back on. So we're like, oh, she fixed it. We're good.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, she comes out. She's like, it's still not working. And I'm like, this is where I started to be very unhappy with everything.
So Dan and I weren't friends for a couple hours. Let the race finish out. We went up later on, took the cover off.
So we figured out.
We don't have to go too long on that.
I'm going to. So we figured out, you broke it. I have to make you relive it. Kyle comes around the corner. This isn't on me. Yes, it is, Kyle. And I explained to him what happened, and he goes, okay, it is on me. Kyle spent the rest of the race Googling how to fix an RV air conditioner. You good?
Yeah.
To no avail.
To no avail.
I've Googled 17 different ways on stood too close to air conditioner, stood on roof of camper, air conditioner not working, roof air conditioner issues on soft roof has soft spot, AC no run. Nothing.
So, and I'm like, I was pissed at this point, annoyed with Kyle because he did the thing I told him not to do, annoyed because I'm now thinking there's going to be, it was still in the mid 80s and sunny.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, there's going to be 5 of us and 2 dogs in this camper tonight. trying to sleep. It was already up to, I think, 86, 87 in the camper, and I was like, this is going to be bad.
I was seriously contemplating sleeping in the bed of Kyle's truck.
Yeah. So we're all looking. Ronan was like, hey, do you want to take the cover off it? Because I was able to get the cover off inside the camper, and I couldn't move the blower fan. So I'm like, something's fucked up. This is still during the race. He's like, do you want to take the cover off? I'm like, it's loud. We'll figure it out later.
I think what I said
And I was pissed, too, so I didn't
like,
want to do anything.
I really want to help you. I'll do whatever you want. But your face now says, leave me alone for half an hour.
Yeah, Kyle came over and was all apologetic, and I'm like, Kyle, I still love you. Don't take this to heart, but get the fuck away from me right now. or something along those lines. So you went over, you were watching under the TV, under the tent.
No, I wasn't.
But you weren't watching, but you were over there.
I was playing puzzle games on my phone.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
I was like, I've ruined everything. I'm going to sit in the corner.
I couldn't find any shade. All the shade I could find was near Kyle, and I didn't want to be over there. So I went under my broken pop-up and sat in a chair
and passed out.
Fell asleep. I dozed the fuck off.
I walked by and I walked by to get a water and I thought Dan was growling at me. I was like I get it. Like I made a mistake, but you don't have to growl at me. And I look
snoring.
underneath and he was snoring.
Yeah.
You look through the hole they cut to fucking waterboard Ronan earlier.
We forgot about waterboarding Ronan.
That'll be in the reel. You'll see
be
it.
in the reel. Yeah, I set up my chair up in the shade. I put my feet up in another chair, and I had MRN on my headset, and I don't remember much after that. I just dozed off. Which woke me up was the Todd Gilliland spin, them yelling about it. And I jumped up and hit my head off the broken pop-up, and I was like, we're having fun today.
Yeah.
So we end up, after the race is over, we pop the cover off of it after some convincing from these guys, and we found out that there was a stupid styrofoam cover surround that goes around the blower for insulation, because that's what blows into the camper, the cold air coming in.
Right, it's like a duct.
It's like a duct work kind of. So we're like, something's not right here. So we pop that off. Come to find out that the fan had hit that styrofoam, and it like dug itself into it and essentially like melted to it. So as soon as
it's a hamster wheel style fan, like a blower motor. So the back's flat.
Yeah.
So the flat part was hitting the styrofoam, and it might not have glued at the time, but it hit it enough to stop it. And I think they kind of fused together.
Yeah. So when we pulled that piece of styrofoam off, all of a sudden the blower fan is free. And then we start looking at it, and there's a set screw because the fucking blower fan is
a
paper's width away from the styrofoam, and then the other side is an inch and a half away. Mm-hmm. So we just loosened the set screw, slid it over a little bit. Works mint now. So all was forgiven. Kyle was mad at Kyle for a little bit, but all was forgiven.
Yep.
I told him
I
told him I had to tell him something. Gave him a big hug. I was like, I don't hate you anymore. I love you.
Yeah, you're like, I got to tell you something. I was like, okay. I was like waiting for a speech, and you just hugged me. I was like, that's not telling me something.
Yeah, that's why I did it. I wanted to fuck with your head a little bit.
At least say I want to do something to you.
Nope. I wanted to fuck your head a little bit. But
so we got it all figured out.
The best was Kyle before we figured this out, because Steph had already looked up what a new air conditioner costs, and Kyle's like, just let me know. It's on me. I got it. Whatever you need.
Yep.
I wasn't even mad about that. I was pissed because if they'd had to go to the dealership, we knew we wouldn't have a camper for.
Take them Are they
take
behind?
like 6 months. Like camper dealerships are not like dropping your car off at a dealership and you get it like maybe 2 days later.
Yeah.
It's months of waiting. So that's what I was pissed about.
Yeah. All right. So continuing with the race there, I mean, Gilliland brings out a caution. Everyone comes out and pits.
Yeah, Gilliland blows either a right front tire or a right front rotor.
They were saying too.
It's hard to say. I think it was a tire, but either way, he blows it. He does the smart thing. He puts it right up against the wall. Applaud him for that, because we've seen too many injuries and careers affected by
turn one at
trying to
Pocono
be a
Rex.
hero in turn one and hitting the wall at Mock Jesus.
Yeah.
This triggers the restart in which Corey LaJoie gets into Kyle Busch, which has been the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Norm, your opinion?
I don't think the broadcast did Corey any favors. They're going down turn one. We're in stage 3. We're 122 laps in.
Yep.
Out of
There was only like
150 laps.
There was
121. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like 60 to go, I think.
So there wasn't. This was go time. This was all the restarts were going to heat up from
39.
here. It was time to go. And Corey dives to the inside. We've seen a million pictures of Pocono. This is one of the biggest talking points of Pocono. It's like, look how many cars wide they are going into turn one. It's crazy how much they fan out. But apparently when Corey LaJoie does it, you're not supposed to do it. Because everyone's like, what was he thinking doing that? So Corey LaJoie jumps low, gets a run. Supposedly he was being pushed by AJ Allmendinger. He gets a huge run on the bottom, jumps low. Kyle Busch throws a Hail Mary block on him. We've seen this block a million times. Lucky for Kyle Busch that it didn't turn him right there, because that was a very late block. Corey hammers him in the rear bumper. throws Corey down another lane. So Corey's now kind of on Kyle Busch's inside. Coming up to turn 1, Corey then goes to merge behind Kyle Busch and turns him into 1. Very bad spot to turn somebody. It's a restart, so they're not going full speed, but they're still probably going 170 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Typically, they're hitting almost 200 by turn 1, 190 plus. Turns Kyle Busch to the inside, and at that point, we've all played NR 2003 and NASCAR on PS2. You're going to hit a lot of cars when you jump to the inside and just go straight to the turn.
Yeah.
So Kyle Busch, unfortunately, gets turned to the inside, slides across the grass, comes right back up onto the track, and takes out 3 or 4 cars.
Buried
in the process.
Stenhouse. He hit Burton, I think.
Cindric, Allmendinger, Burton, Priest, Stenhouse, Hocevar all involved.
Yeah.
Yep. Hocevar didn't sustain any damage.
Dude, that save by Hocevar was
fantastic save.
Sick.
I don't think AJ got a bunch of damage. I think he kind of just got tapped in the process.
Yeah.
Priest, Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse were all done. 21, I think, got kind of piled up in the back there.
Yeah.
I think he sustained some damage, but knocked 3 cars out. And the broadcast, in my opinion, did a horrible job covering this. And they just pretty much painted Corey LaJoie up to be like
He did it intentionally.
like American enemy number 1, like public enemy number 1. Like they pretty much painted it like it was an intentional incident.
Yeah.
Which from the one blimp shot that they really harped on looked bad. And then they completely skimmed past the fact that their onboard that they showed of Kyle Busch murdering the rev limiter. They're just like, all the drivers hit the rev limiter. It's like for 3 consecutive seconds.
Dude, like I was trying to explain to people in Discord last night. I mean, you normally hear the limiter and it's like, this was, like he was on it. Corey said like 50 to 100 yards.
Well, let's go back to Daytona. Bowman hits the rev limiter coming out of the pits for his qualifying lap at Daytona. That's the difference between first place and I think he qualified like 10th at Daytona.
Yeah.
So hitting the rev limiter for a split second may be normal. But Kyle Busch sat on it, clearly missed a shift. And when you hit the rev limiter, these cars are set up. Dan explained it perfectly in Discord. When you hit rev limiter, it sets the computer up for a no-lift shift. So it drops the timing so you can slip it into 5th gear, 3rd gear, whatever you're upshifting to. It drops the timing to allow you to drop it in gear without lifting. Well, when you sit on rev limiter for 2 to 3 seconds, it's now dropping timing, and you're going to either slow down or, at best case scenario, maintain speed.
Yeah, it was almost like it hits so hard, it's almost like stabbing the brakes. Like, not hard, but I even did it. I mean, it's a completely different animal, but I said in the media challenge, when you hit the limiter, the car fell on its face.
Yeah, it's almost like you lifted.
Yeah, it fell on its face.
Yeah.
And when these
Once
cars...
you chip, it reacts almost as if you just come off.
Right.
And these cars we've talked about it before, they're so close together and they're so... Every mile an hour makes a difference. I said it in Discord last night. If they're both accelerating still at 175, but Kyle Busch gets on the chip for 100 yards, he's now stopped accelerating, potentially even slowed down. Corey is still accelerating, so he's might even be doing 178, 180. But he's already committed to, I need to make this corner. I'm going to slide up behind Kyle. He has no idea that Kyle's on the chip and slowing down or lost his momentum or whatever wording you want to say about it.
And that's the difference between sliding in behind him and taking him out.
Exactly.
Right, clipping him.
Exactly.
Was Corey's move a little aggressive? Sure, maybe. If he's being taught to go get everything that you possibly can by his crew chief, like you said earlier, then yeah. Was it a little aggressive? Sure. Is that what he's being told to do? That's what it sounds like.
And I think if Kyle if Kyle puts it in 5th or doesn't hit the chip, that works.
Yeah. It would have been fine. I think Norm nailed it. It's just
It's 100%
he's the devil
a
when he
racing
does it.
deal. Everyone was so quick to be like, suspend him, park him.
Yeah, I can't believe
him.
that was
mob
even
mentality.
a thing. Like NASCAR is not going to penalize Corey LaJoie, and they'll talk to him. Why would they have even talked to him in the first
Yeah,
place?
do you penalize somebody for a bad bump at Daytona? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it was
Everyone
even
comparing it to Lane Riggs at Gateway.
That was way
when
worse.
he straight up wrecked Stephen. Was it Stephen Parsons in the 75?
Yes.
Straight up wrecked him. And it's like, yeah, he turned him when they were the only 2 cars on the track and they had been playing bumper cars for 4 laps straight.
Yeah.
And he blatantly hooked him into a corner.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a penalty. When Bubba Wallace wrecked Kyle Larson, right hooked him on the straightaway, that's a penalty.
When Chase did it
when
to
Chase
Denny.
did it to Denny Hamlin at Charlotte or Texas, they're the same thing. When he hooked him, reared him, and right hooked him into the fence, that's a penalty. When a driver even say he left reared him naturally, that's not a penalty. We've never penalized aggressive driving in the Cup Series for a racing incident.
Yeah.
And they're like, if NASCAR goes and looks at all the data like they should before they do a penalty, they're going to look at it and be like, oh, Kyle Busch stopped accelerating 300 yards before the turn.
Yeah.
They're going to clearly see that, yes, it's Corey LaJoie made an aggressive move, but if Kyle Busch hadn't missed a shift, this wouldn't have been a talking point. Was Corey going to go into turn 1 and ship him? Probably. Who knows?
Yeah.
But he didn't intentionally left rear him because 9 times out of 10, if you do that move, where's that car going? Down and then right back up into you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You turn somebody in that situation, Corey's lucky.
He's lucky he wasn't
got away
involved.
with that.
Yeah.
Because every other time you hook somebody in that situation, they're coming right back up in front of you and wrecking you too.
I just hated, and I've noticed it over the last couple of weeks, there's this new mob mentality with Corey.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm guilty of it. We pile on John Hunter. We pile on Harrison. I'm fully guilty of it. But it's like Corey was...
Step back and look at it
Corey
first.
was one of the most liked guys in the garage, or in his fan base 5 months ago, 4 months ago.
People turn quickly.
And now all of a sudden, one fucking YouTuber with the, hey guys, hit the like and subscribe button, decided to not like Corey. I'm just guessing.
Just retweets what does he even do every week.
Yeah, I'm just guessing. And
everyone jumps on that wagon.
Seen. Yeah. I've seen a shit ton of the brake hard guy and the E-step and all these YouTubers that make videos of them staring at their camera in their office and complaining about drivers. Now 10 people retweet that. Now 100 more people see it. Now all of a sudden it snowballs and everybody fucking hates LaJoie. I'm like, where'd this come from?
Yeah.
Right. It's
just step back and look at the situation before you
stacking burgers memes and you're stacking pennies. No, now you're stacking wrecked race cars and LaJoie spun again. Like,
yeah.
If you look at the facts like we've been talking about, yes, does he make mistakes? Has he had a really bad year? Yes, 100%. But I think a lot of it, like Norm said earlier, is him over driving shitly prepared cars, making mistakes. When you're trying to get every ounce out of a car to make a top 20, you're gonna make mistakes. It happens. And I'm just, the mob mentality I don't know. Like I said, I feel like I'm pot calling the kettle black here a little bit because I do it myself. I'll fully admit I pile on with every time Harrison spins or, there's John Hunter doing John Hunter things again.
Now that someone's piling on someone we like, maybe we should step back and think about it as well. Exactly. If someone self-spins and they suck, I'm going to tell them they self-spin and suck. Harrison Burton, I still don't forgive Phoenix.
Right. I mean,
but
we gave Corey a bunch of shit for Chicago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just take a step back and look at it and look at every in-car before you start passing judgment, and don't just jump on someone else's bandwagon. But we have a terrifying thunderstorm warning coming, so we're going to keep digging.
Oh, boy. Do we?
Impossible, dude. We're not a Pocono anymore.
We get the...
Should I go hold the pop-up down? Or
go make sure my tonneau cover's clipped.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that. Mr. Hot Tub tonneau cover.
Yeah.
Dumbass didn't secure his tonneau cover before the storm. It was just cracked open.
Well, that was a 3-day battle with his tonneau cover.
So in the rainstorm, his loose tonneau cover has now filled completely with water in its compartments between the bars.
Yeah.
We're all standing outside and it's not even really raining anymore. And I hear Kyle go, oh, fuck. And I look over and the tonneau cover is totaled. I mean, there was 50, 60 pounds of water in that fucking thing.
Yeah, and you know what was under the tonneau cover that was slightly cracked was all of my clothes.
Yep, all of his clothes, Ronan's shoes.
Yeah.
Everything was in there.
Okay, Ronan lost some shoes for 6 hours. I lost all of my clothes until I got home.
It's not like you were wearing.
You weren't wearing any half the
That's
time.
fair, but at least I wanted some dry socks, and I only had one pair left.
Should ask me. I had like fucking 6 pairs of socks.
Oh, that's fair. Probably should have done
But
that.
yeah, so we thought his tonneau cover broke that he just put on.
Yeah. Oh boy, power's already out.
Where
for
are
them.
you? Where's he at? He's up in like Leominster, I think, or he's up by Tony, isn't he?
Yeah, but let's keep moving.
All right.
We had a restart after that. Shortly thereafter, we have the Ty Gibbs explosion. Ty Gibbs having a pretty solid day, and the old milkshake edition starts blowing out the pipes.
Well, right before
Kyle, that
this,
storm's
we
not
didn't mention
hitting us
it.
at all. It's not.
Yeah,
even
we're
coming.
just going to keep moving.
I know,
just in
we're gonna
case.
We're going
It's
to
not
dive
even-
into
Yeah.
before even the Corey incident.
We're not going backwards, Norm.
Where are right now? 4 cars got nabbed on pit road for speeding.
You know what this is? He looked at the questions. We have a lot of questions, and he's panicking.
No, I didn't look at them at
I'm
all.
fine with
Oh,
that.
I haven't either. So
4 cars were caught for speeding. 4 very good cars. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs, and Suarez, who were all having very good days. All very good race picks as well. All 4 of them got caught for speeding in one section on the pit road that all 36 out of the 37 cars or something
It
like
was
that.
the only 3 cars didn't get caught in the pre-race when they come down
Section
pit,
7, yeah.
when they come down pit road before the initial green flag to check their speed. MRN was in a commercial, and all of them came over the one of them. They banter when you're at the track. You hear their banter between each other when they're in commercial. And I forget who it was. One of the pit reporters. He's like, every car except for 3 just got caught for speeding in Section 7 on the. Would technically be caught for speeding.
Yeah, the 3 cars that didn't probably were pitting in Section 7.
Yeah.
So they probably swerved down to say hi to their pit crew and kept going. So, yeah, obviously, clearly a mistake on NASCAR's part because you don't speed up and slow down going down pit road under normal situations. You keep a constant speed.
Yep.
So 4 guys got nabbed for it under 1 yellow and kind of flipped their races upside down, and Ty Gibbs was one of them.
So Ty Gibbs, speeding doesn't matter when the thing completely blows up.
Yeah, I think it was the restart after the Corey
Right after
thing.
the Corey one, yeah.
He goes off into turn 1, and there is smoke just pouring out the pipes. He makes it around 1, is heading towards the tunnel turn, and kudos to NBC with that slow-mo shot.
Bro.
Unbelievable.
Just dumping chalky milk.
Because they didn't throw the caution right away. He blew up going by us. I was up on the roof with you at that point. He went by us, and we're like,
No
they're going to
caution.
throw the caution, and then he goes off into 2, and then the caution came out. Well, we saw the replay later that halfway down the Long Pond straightaway, that thing someone pulled the wine corks out of the exhaust and just vomiting. If you don't know what a milkshake is, that's when oil and
Huge
coolant
puff of
mix.
smoke on the restart.
Yep, oil and coolant mix, and it looks like a chocolate milkshake, and that was pouring out of the pipes.
You got to think, Ty Gibbs came up, obviously racing in Gibbs Racing. Who raced for Gibbs? Kyle Busch. Ty Gibbs learned a lot from Kyle Busch. Maybe Kyle Busch taught him how to shift.
Maybe.
And he just let it out of the restart.
Nice. The restart after Ty Gibbs, Blaney out front, gets a pretty strong lead in less than 10 laps over Bowman. Denny gets around Bowman and tries to run Blaney down, who now has a lead of 2.5-ish seconds.
He never got close.
But
He ran fast
Didn't
on
happen.
him for like 2 or 3 laps, but only by like a tenth or
Yeah,
so.
he wasn't catching him.
no.
This was, unfortunately, due to those pit road penalties and stuff like that, you took a lot of the strong guys out of the top 5. Bowman and Blaney, who were battling for the lead there at the end, 2 of the top 3, those were like 6th and 7th place cars at best throughout the day. So obviously it wasn't Blaney's day, but he played good strategy. He flipped stage 2, stayed out on track.
They flipped both stages. He didn't get any stage points.
So-
He finished like 20th and like 23rd in the stages or something
Yeah,
like
he
that.
he was still running hot laps there at the end,
Yeah.
but definitely they took a high top 10 car and they put it up in
Clean
position
air,
to
clean
win.
air is king too. You
Yep.
put a 10th place car out
And
front,
and
they
that
can surprise
Pocono
you.
turns into a strategy race almost every time.
We've been to 4 now. We've seen 5 races. I think one of them hasn't been strategy related. I mean, the Bowman win when Larson wrecked. I mean, I'm sure there was some strategy
Yeah,
there.
there
but
was strategy to that. I'd say the Denny last year when he just wrecked everybody in front of him.
that was
the most fun strategy race ever.
Yeah.
That's a strategy. Wrecking everybody on the way to
it's his
victory lane is a strategy.
I saw a GIF on Instagram today of it was an old clip of Denny like throwing his gloves when he got out of the car, and it's like Denny when he couldn't wreck anybody at Pocono this year.
So Blaney takes the checkered flag. Denny brings it home second. Bowman, Byron, Logano, Reddick, Kozlowski, MTJ, Chase Elliott, and Bubba Wallace, your points getters in the, what was it, Great American Getaway 400?
Great American Getaway 400.
Presented by visitpa.com.
Yeah, that's just a really fancy way of going back to the old Pennsylvania 400.
I think it was a great logo.
It was 100%
Great fitting name for Mr. Ronan
because he visited
because this
PA.
was his Great American Getaway.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
What was your overarching impression of the weekend?
There's a sensory overload
Oh yeah,
from just driving through the tunnel for the start. You start to see how many campers are there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the fireworks. I've never seen fireworks like that in my life.
No, really?
Never.
he goes to me on Sunday. He's like, I've seen American fireworks. I've seen American thunderstorms. He's like, this is great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Keep going.
It's,
What else you got?
I don't know, getting waterboarded is probably something we didn't expect to happen.
It's how we initiate people.
Yep.
We didn't tell you. We've done it to a bunch of people.
It's our thing.
It's our thing.
Yeah.
You're lucky you had pants on when we did it.
Yeah, we're not technically at war with Ireland, so I don't think it's against the Geneva
No, it's
Convention.
not. We're
So
fine.
I
It's
think we're
not.
good,
Look
yeah.
it up.
I will say,
Read a
you
book.
said coming through the tunnel. That was the most people I've ever seen on a Thursday. That place was jammed
Bro,
on
Monday,
Thursday.
when we left,
Yeah,
we
it was
left
busy.
3 hours before you, packed still.
Dude, we left at 11, and there was more campers than I've ever seen still at 11 o'clock. It was ridiculous.
4 flyovers in a weekend.
Yep.
We had a Thursday night, we had a C-130 fly over us for no reason whatsoever.
Saturday there was those 4 propeller planes.
Yep, the four like old fighter jets or whatever. Then we had the tanker,
refueler.
the refueler on Sunday, and then yesterday while we're packing up, a Black Hawk starts doing laps of the track.
Yeah.
He was following the track. He did
like
3 laps and then like looped around a couple times and then just took off.
I feel like that happened 2 or 3 years ago.
We were like,
too.
what is he? He was low. Like we could see the guy hanging out the door. We were like, I like waved at him. He waved back. I was like, hi.
What else?
Everyone was so welcoming and nice. I didn't meet one bad person.
People love new people.
Yeah.
Well,
Our first year was so welcoming and inviting.
and I think you realized that your first year because you hadn't camped. You weren't really a camping person.
I'd never been in a camper in my
Because
life.
it's like that. It's not just NASCAR specific. Like you go to a campground, you're gonna end up talking to the people next to you.
yeah.
Yeah,
friends with
the
everybody.
first ever camper I went into, other than like RV show, not like RV shows. I've been to like the boat show and
Yeah,
stuff. Sometimes
yeah,
like
yeah.
Camping World have a thing there. Your camper is the first real life camper I ever
Yeah.
walked into.
So I was explaining to him that year that like that's just how camping is. It's even tenfold more in a NASCAR weekend. Like when we remember the first year we bought too much ice, and I'm like, he's like, what are we gonna do with this? And I'm like, watch, you'll see. First people I walked over to, you guys need any ice? Actually, yeah, we just gave it to him, and Kyle was like, wait, what? And then didn't they come bring us burgers later?
Yeah, they did.
Like he was like, what the hell?
You could eat for free there.
100%.
100% you could eat for free. We had ribs, mac and cheese.
Oh my God, Just
I mean,
Bus's
we saw some
grandmother's mac and
college kids
cheese.
eat for free there a couple years ago.
True, they stole everything though.
yeah.
Murphy's brisket.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of good food.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, the people we camp with, all
Yeah,
the Pocono or the
they are
Pennsylvania
good
guys
people.
are all awesome.
unbelievable
they're good
people. They're we always end up bringing too much food because at some point in the weekend, one of the meals we planned is going to get forgotten about because somebody over there made something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time.
Every time.
People are so nice and so welcoming.
And like you said, I mean, in our 4 years of going, I think the only bad experience we had was those college kids. And that didn't even affect us. That was just like, oh, that's shitty.
There was like, but it was crazy because it was the one group of bad, and when they got that one group of bad out, everyone that surrounded that group of bad slammed in the middle and talked to each other about it
We
for the
ended
next
up-
half
yeah,
hour
it's
like
and became friends.
We ended up becoming friends with those people.
A mutual enemy just like grouped us all together, and now everyone in that circle says hi.
Like,
I think
The
I
enemy,
think
the
first
enemy
people,
my enemy is my
Yeah,
friend.
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
the people that were camped next to us that had all the
Santa?
Trump shit the first time.
I didn't see
Oh,
them
no.
this year.
I think they came over and said hi to us at one point.
I didn't see them this year. I missed them.
They were camped across the
Well,
way.
remember, our spot was
in
way
the
the hell.
circle.
We did see the Santas,
Yep.
Santa Claus, Mr. and Mrs.
Yep.
Hope you guys are listening. They came over.
They drove
They
over. 'cause
drove
they're camping
over.
in turn 3 this
I
year.
was so excited to see them,
I was so like I got,
and I'm
back-
glad she got to yell at me in person.
Yes, because we didn't see him last year, but that
Yep.
was I had gone to the gas station during the Xfinity race to get gas for the generators. I get back and I'm like, who the fuck is Norm talking to in that Toyota? And I saw the beard and I was like, I jumped out of my
I saw
truck.
Norm talking to them, and I was like, Ronan! we
Yeah.
were
on the
flying
roof.
off the camper.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, because
probably-
I
yeah.
was sitting underneath the pop-ups near Ace's camper, and they stopped right in front of us and were like kind of like waving at us, but we couldn't hear them because I think the Xfinity race was still
Xfinity
going
race was
on.
still going.
And so Murph got up and went over to say hi to him, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm looking for the blah blah blah." And Murph just turns around and goes, "Are there any circle jerks here?" And I was like, "I'm a circle jerk," and I went over and I was like, "Oh, it's you guys." And they
But
were
like
super
them,
cool.
They're the
There's
nicest.
the people that are down on the fence line that, like, I said this to Steph on the way home yesterday. It's crazy that we've been going. I mean, we've only been going for 4 years, but we've been going long enough now to run into. There's people that camp on the fence line that we saw them the first year. They're from our state. They're from New Hampshire. They had a dog like Steph grew up with. So we met them and pet their dog and stuff. And then we saw them walk by this year. That dog has since passed away, and they have another one.
Aw.
But like we've been going long enough, and I'm like, you guys are the ones from Rye, right? He's like, yeah, and like we all. He's like, oh, I remember you guys.
Yeah, I was right there
Like,
for that.
That little community we have. Like, granted, there's different people. Like the people next to us this year were not there last year. There's a few different people, but like we know, Moonshine Mama's going to be on that corner. We got this corner. Those guys are going to be over there. You know what I mean? Like
The Moonshine Crew are the nicest people.
the guys with that throttled you in cornhole. They're there every year because I remember that
They were cool
yellow
as shit.
that
Yeah,
yellow
those mini
chopper
bottles,
bike
yeah.
thing they have.
Yeah.
They're there every year. Like it's always the same people, and it's the coolest thing to know. We're going to pull in there next year, and we're going to see 5 or 6 groups of people we already know on top of our crew that goes.
Anything else stand out to you? Surprise you?
When you watch Pocono on TV, it's not a very entertaining race.
It can be, but yeah, I know where you're going.
I wouldn't be picking it as one of my top 5 to go to.
Loudon's the same way.
But when you go there, it is a different experience.
Yeah.
It is just
'Cause you're in it.
You're in the track.
It's like I said,
You're just part of it, and also the fact that your service goes for about 2 days. You don't have a choice but to be in it.
mine was intermittent. It worked good. It worked bad. There was times where it would like
Mine was shit.
There was times where I had better service than all of you.
weekend.
when I was in the camper, it didn't work. When I walked outside, it would kind of work. But it's so funny every year that Sunday night, all of a sudden, like by the time you went to bed, we were all looking at our phones. I was like, "Fuck, my phone's working great again." Like, but
it got good Sunday. I reckon they put up a tower or something on Sunday.
But so I've said a million times about Pocono, like you just said.
Well, no, Sunday, everyone from the campground goes up to the grandstands.
Yeah.
So a lot less phones in your area.
Like I said, I've said many times before with Pocono, once you go through that tunnel, like you said, you're in it. You're in the bubble.
Yeah.
And you don't, like, yes, we left a couple times to go to, like, gas stations
Just
and stuff.
Bus.
I saw that. That's for questions.
Yep.
But, like, you're just in the bubble all weekend, and it's so fun. And then even, like, we drove 20 minutes away to go to Walmart, and I saw everybody in there had NASCAR shirts on. Like, it was all people doing the same shit we were doing. I wonder if the guy that washed his Challenger with a Brillo pad was going to the race.
Oh, Jesus.
That was bad. Yeah.
That was bad. All right. Well, that kind of recaps our weekend. Sorry if you're looking for some heavy race recaps, but
We had a lot of other.
are by the fans, for the fans, and sometimes we're just fans. So that was our fan weekend.
Yes, Joe, I do.
No, go away.
Oh, God. So we will allow for some questions. We'll start. Read Just Buses while I get the rest.
What was the best dinner night, and why was it Friday night with the mariachi music? So we're sitting there having taco night, and then all of a sudden Kyle fires his phone up with, like, go to any Mexican restaurant in the world. That was the playlist Kyle was playing.
Yeah.
And it made the night even more authentic.
And more people started coming over when the mariachi
yeah.
music started playing.
And he said, shout
Well,
out
they started playing it on their side, making fun of us before they realized that we were playing it on our side.
yes. And then he says, shouts to me for being a genius and dipping my quesadilla in Steph's queso, which that's been my move
That's
for years.
good, but I feel like the cheesy gordita crunch that I came up with a couple years ago.
Oh,
is
yeah.
the move.
You made a couple.
I'm pretty sure you aren't Taco Bell, but I'm proud of you.
Well, I reinvented it. They don't use queso; they just melt cheese in between it.
Oh, you go queso in between.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what-
so I take back what I said.
So I take a soft shell taco. I smear a thin layer of Steph's famous queso that she stole from Shorty's. I put a hard
We made
shell
it better.
inside of it, and then I make a regular hard shell taco, and then it's
Strong move.
so it's a soft
Actually, I
and
think
a
you
hard-
told me about that when we did it at my house, right?
No, I've never had tacos at your house.
No,
We've
when
had the queso
we
at the
made
house.
Queso.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Championship race a couple years ago.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's I will say though the
Just Bus, I could take that queso as an
the
IV.
Big Mac quesadilla burger things that you make.
oh yeah, Big Mac
they were
tacos.
good.
Kyle was talking about those weeks ago, and I was like, ever since he mentioned like Big Mac quesadilla or taco burger thing, I was like, that sounds bomb. And then all weekend it kept being like, oh, we're not gonna make that.
We'll push it back.
Oh, we'll make that another time. And then like
It's a messy job
the
for me.
final night, Steph's like, what do you guys want? Do you want like
It was
shredded
chicken cheesesteaks or the taco
or
burgers.
regular burgers, or maybe Kyle will make the taco burgers? And I was like, I've kind of been wanting those all weekend, and we made
And then
those,
you put it to me.
and they were le bomb.
Glad you liked them.
Yeah, they were good.
So,
only that
it-
they were hotter than the surface of the sun when you picked them up.
Yeah, I like my food hot.
You and Steph are the same. You
Hot
guys
food.
are like the pizza we had on the way home yesterday. So we stopped at a rest stop a couple hours from home. We were both starving. She gets a fresh pizza. Like I thought she was going to get a couple slices. She got a fresh pizza, puts it in the center console of the truck, grabs a piece and just starts eating it. And I'm like, it's still bubbling. And she's like, what?
Good.
She's like, I don't see the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so the
I
I'm glad
pretty
the
much-
Big Mac tacos went well.
I pretty much let all food chill for like room temp.
Same. I gotta let it
Ew,
sit.
you're psycho.
I gotta let not room temp. I gotta let it sit a little bit.
You want any more Jello shots? Go to hell.
Yeah, Joe asked if we wanted more Jello shots. He can go fuck himself.
All right.
He did say serious question though. What was the best flavor, buddy? They all blended together. After
Oh, creamsicle all day,
Yeah,
dog.
orange.
creamsicle fucked.
Creamsicle,
Is
no
my go-to
question.
with anything.
There was
Hell yeah.
one that I had that I think it was like the coconutty one, like or the pina colada one. That one was really good.
Pineapple.
Pineapple. Yeah, that one.
I had about like 6 or 7 of the orange ones. Then I went for the blue ones, and then after that, I didn't taste them. I think I had one Fireball one, and I was like, all right, check that off the list. Don't need any more of those.
Oh yeah, I was going creamsicle every time because like I was like, this is
Creamsicle,
delicious.
the
Why am I
blue.
going to vary
The
it?
blue's like the blue.
And then I got one of the
citron or
blue. I
whatever
was like,
it's
oh,
called.
that's pretty bomb too.
Yeah.
But then you're right. Then they didn't care, and we were at the stage at the concert, and he's just pushing him over my shoulder, and I'm just like catching him, like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. And I just shoved the whole cup in my mouth to like lick it out, and I'm like, oh,
Shouts.
Fireball.
So Justin Smith asked how many gibbets were lost. We did not shout Justin out
Oh,
with
yeah.
the coolest gift anyone has ever given us. He shows up.
No, Rona gave me herpes.
That's the gift that keeps on giving. So he shows up on, this is Thursday night, and he comes up to me. He's like, hey, should I give you the gift now, or do you want to wait for the other guys? I was like, no, wait, I don't want to know. Little did I know he had the gift on him the whole fucking time.
Yeah,
Shows
that
up,
thing on me.
Shows up with a bag full of what, like 20, 25?
Yeah,
He
probably.
got custom Luce's Fast Podcast gibbets made and gave them to us.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're like little 3D printed gibbets. They're awesome because they're also super low profile.
Yeah.
So you put them on, and it's like we have all like the NASCAR ones, and I took most of them off because they're gigantic.
Yes.
yeah.
And every time you cross your legs or like you're stepping, you trip or you drag your toe, 3 go flying
Yeah,
off.
I took all the
Stop
super high
falling,
ones
and you
off.
won't have a problem.
That's him.
It's only once. I only lost one this weekend. I lost my Daytona one, but I found it.
I did not put one on.
I
no,
put
I didn't.
2 on.
Oh,
I lost one.
I never lost a Luce's Fast one because I never put one on.
I
Because
lost-
I kept meaning to and forgot.
I lost one of my personal ones that, not the Luce's Fast ones,
one'd you lose?
the diamond one.
Oh,
Because you know that one of the white Crocs
did
has
you give Ant the carrot?
oh no, it's
forgot,
still on
didn't
my
you?
shoe.
You forgot. Didn't you?
One of them has the Pac-Mans,
Yes.
all the Pac-Mans on it. Those survived. The other one's got like MTV, Luigi, and there's like a tiny diamond one. It's just it's like a cartoon diamond, and I lost that one.
I lost.
But other than that,
I
survived.
looked down. I lost the Daytona one. I was pissed,
That
and I was
sucks.
like,
I got an
no,
extra.
No, I was like, let me retrace my steps because we had just taken the dogs for a walk, and it was there before. I was like, must have just lost it. Walk around the back of the camper, sitting right there. I was like,
Hell
yes!
yeah.
I was like,
I
thank
lost
you.
one of the loosest fast ones, I think, in the shower.
No, I found it.
Did you?
Well,
Yeah.
you guys showered together. So.
It was in the truck.
All right, cool. I was gonna
There
say
was a one
even if I
loose one
lost
in the
it,
back seat.
So what
free
I did
advertising,
was,
baby.
do you know the NASCARs have the spoiler?
Yeah.
You take off the spoiler. There's 2 extra gibbet holes on the
yeah.
strap.
Norm did the same thing.
That's
Yeah.
what I did, but
Yeah.
the NAS Crocs, the strap is so flimsy
Yeah, it kind of
for
bangs.
whatever
very
reason
thin.
that I think that's why.
So yeah, I never put one of the Luce's Fast ones in, but I'm going to. But I didn't because I didn't want to lose them.
Exactly why I didn't put one in either. We got a bunch of Instagram questions. We'll start with Jet Daily. Tell the leprechaun of Pocono. Tell the leprechaun of Pocono's ma that I'm sorry for her loss.
Who could he be
man.
talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah. Jet Daily. Will Blaney ever win another race? This seems to work.
Yeah.
G60 Tim, you are the actual MVP of the weekend.
Yeah, great guy.
I finally met Ronan. He may be cooler than all of you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Well, yeah.
Can't confirm.
We didn't talk about that. We usually do it every year at Pocono. What was the non-living MVP of the weekend? A couple years ago was the cooler bags. Should we posthumously give it to my pop-up?
Yeah. Post-mortem?
Because then we stood it back up after it broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
it
got it
lasted.
going again.
So it folds over in the rain. It's done raining. I cut the canvas open to get all the water out of it, hence the waterboarding. And then I'm like, well, let me see if it'll stand up. So we stand it back up, and it held strong for like another 4 or 5 hours. And then the breeze kicked up during
But
the
what
race.
we did was where it clips in at the top when you extend it fully, it cracked just under those
yeah,
clicks.
yeah.
So if you just loosened them, dropped it down half an inch, it kind of gave it a bit of stability.
Yeah, so it stayed up for another
5
4 or
hours?
5 hours, and then the wind kicked up towards the end of the cup race. Not a lot, but enough to knock it back over. And I was like, I give up.
So, well, if you blew at it, it was going to knock
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
Yeah.
MVP of the weekend after death, the old pop up.
Yep.
In memoriam.
Now I got to buy another one.
Stephen Ark, 79. This has been one of Ricky Stenhouse's cleanest years. Now he is just getting collected instead.
It's true. It's twice Kyle Busch has taken him out.
Yeah.
Did you see his post race? He said that. He goes, "Oh, Kyle got me again," or something like
Yeah,
that. Like jokingly, like he laughed about it after.
Yeah. Rolling the bottom. Does Pocono have the best camping experience in all of NASCAR?
We haven't experienced
That
all of
we've
them.
experienced.
Oh yeah, that we've experienced, but we need to experience more. But like I said, I heard multiple places. I've heard it on a couple podcasts. I heard it on MRN that they're saying that Pocono is like one of the most fan friendly.
I think it's top 3 from what I've heard.
I think it's getting,
Michigan and Talladega.
Yeah.
I need to experience both.
Watkins Glen's apparently insane too. Watkins Glen is awesome.
Do you have to like bring an actual motorcycle to get around Watkins
Probably
Glen
yes.
campgrounds?
Probably.
All right, L98 Jake with a couple. Is Mother Nature cursing NBC weekends for letting Junior walk?
Probably.
Yeah.
We got. I mean, nothing really. I guess the truck race was rain affected. We got lucky with the cup race because obviously that rain. It rained buckets, but then the sun instantly came out. They only ran the Air Titans we saw them once, maybe
well, that's
twice.
because it takes 45 minutes to do a lap around Pocono.
Yeah, we saw them maybe twice, but then the sun. I mean, it was an hour and a half after it stopped raining. And I pointed out to you that the road course in front of us was already dry.
Yeah, it
I
was
was like,
pretty
it's
quick.
already dry.
I will say last weekend at Chicago was quite wet, but thank God we weren't there this weekend.
Yeah, no shit.
They had
Did you
straight up
see the-
tornadoes this
Oh,
weekend.
did they?
Yeah.
Multiple
See the
tornadoes.
lake after turn 1?
Yes.
When the Air Titans were going around, there was a fire truck there with a hose going over the fence, and there was a lot of people standing there in jeans who were wet up to their knees.
Yeah.
So that lake was that deep on the
Oh,
other
yeah.
side of the fence.
Yeah. L98 Jake, why did Ronan have to throat that taco like that on the Insta story?
Buddy.
My man.
He said that after I took the video, he goes, I don't know why, but I put 3/4 of the taco in my mouth.
It was that good.
It was good.
Strong tacos. Pepper cuts grass. You can eliminate one forever. Rain at NASCAR events. Corey LaJoy wrecks. World hunger.
Rain at NASCAR events, especially ones we attend.
Yeah, I have some pretty bad luck there.
I mean,
We've-
hunger's got to be like the right answer.
No, fuck 'em.
Right?
Nah, fuck 'em.
So what do we have? We've gone, two of us have gone 4 races this year, and it's rained at 3 of them.
Yeah.
I'm the bad luck.
It's you. Austin was dry as a bone. It was windy as fuck.
Oh, it
but
is.
Yeah, it is.
You're
It's
the problem.
Norm.
Yep, because he went to Daytona.
I was like, it's me. No,
I'm the
it's
problem,
him.
It's me.
So Norm, Daytona, porked.
Did it rain at all in Texas?
Nope. And we never saw rain. It just was
Oh,
windy. It
the
was windy
first
as-
day when we went down Rainy Street. Conveniently, it drizzled a little bit.
Oh, well, that didn't affect the
When
race.
we were sitting
though.
at the bar?
That didn't affect the race,
No,
though.
no.
It didn't rain on us at the track. So,
No.
but Norm porked Daytona. We had rain at Loudon. And then, I mean, again, it didn't really affect the cup race, but that was the worst rain of the year, I'd say.
Yeah.
And Loudon last year, it rained on you.
It's Norm.
It's you.
You're fired.
Get out.
Deal.
Deal. We got a hot take
Hot take.
from Mel Mardo 4.
Oh. That's my wife.
One hot take. That Irish lad. Nice.
Well, you can hot take them back home. We're done with
We're done with him. Put him away wet.
Oh, yeah, we put him
Literally.
away, literally.
it. We're putting them away burnt.
No. Shouts to Ronan.
Let's take off his watch. He got some color.
But he did not get a sunburn. We made sure.
It's not much, but there's some bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
keep it away.
Ronan.
We took good care of
It's a
him.
different person under there.
We
dude.
made sure.
I brought. We went to BJ's before we left, and we bought 3 spray bottles of sunscreen.
30.
Oh, we
He
had the 50.
So
and
I
what
was
he found-
putting on the 30, then the 50, and doubling it up
We
to
literally-
80.
Yeah,
I
That's how
didn't think of
maths
that.
work.
Sorry.
We were trying to make sure that Ronan had sunscreen on before anybody else. Like we were helping him and then worrying about
We were
ourselves.
all very good about wearing sunscreen.
I didn't get burned at
Aha,
all.
it's me, your boy. I'm cooked.
Yeah, I can see his forehead under his hat. He's not
Oh.
doing
Yeah,
too
I'm gonna be
well.
wearing forward hats for a while.
I did not get a burn. At
I
all.
pushed it to like
I did-
early afternoon, and then I was like, all right, my turn.
Very tops of my feet when we sat on the camper, and I had like those no-show socks on. I took off my Crocs. When I put on the sunscreen, I put it down to the Croc.
No.
And so there was like...
Oh, you gotta cover the whole foot, brother.
there
You have
was like
little
an
dots?
inch. No,
I've got the
socks on.
dots before. That's
So-
hilarious.
I pushed it on Saturday during the Xfinity race when I was watching. We were watching the first stage. I felt the backs of my legs getting warm, and I was like, I either got to put sunscreen on or to get the fuck off this roof.
Mine
And I
was
like,
all walking around doing media.
I was like, I don't really feel like getting greasy, so I'm getting off the roof.
Yeah. She comes back again with thanks for looking after him.
We took good care of him. He took
alive.
good care of us.
I promised you I would keep him alive. I didn't say what level of alive or percentage of alive, but he is alive.
Well, you contacted my wife to say, I promise to keep him alive. And when we were leaving your house, your Steph asked me to keep you alive. So
And we did a great job of keeping an eye on each
And
other.
my Steph kept everybody alive. The
MVP of the weekend.
that
there.
fucking Sunday
Track
morning.
moment?
The Sunday morning, I'm half awake and a Gatorade and aspirin is shoved in my face.
Yeah.
And then I hear she did it to all of you.
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
I was like, she knows what we need.
Yeah.
She knows the drill.
She did a great job. Sam Valley 95 with a couple. Any plans for the off weeks coming up? Taking them off?
I'm going to Germany.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that's the first off weekend. I don't think we're gonna. I mean, we're gonna take both weeks off, or
Yeah.
I'm going to France for the Olympics.
at least the one. I would say at least the week I'm gone. But we talked about it the last time. Nothing happens for this 2 weeks.
Yeah,
We did do shows though last time we had the Olympic break, but that was like when we had Chris Leone on.
Yeah. No, we're taking a break.
Yeah, at least-
The whole industry gets a vacation. We get one too.
yeah.
I'm going to Wales to go racing.
We're gonna go.
Hell yeah.
We going both weeks, or
Yeah. Take a vacay.
I am.
Yeah, exactly. Do you like the Pocono race in June or in July better?
From the rumors I'm hearing, it might be in June next year. Somebody in that Pocono group, and it could have been somebody trolling. I don't know. They said that they have people, kind of like we have people that we know at the track. Somebody said that they confirmed June 23rd.
So moving into New Hampshire's weekend.
No, New Hampshire will probably be back. No, New Hampshire's in fucking September next year.
Right. No, he's saying it's taken its current date.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So apparently, again,
New Hampshire in September.
that could have been
Breaking
somebody
news.
trolled. That because there's a lot of those in those camping groups. There's a lot of guys that just live there just to fuck with people. But some people were commenting saying that they were hearing the same thing.
Yeah. I liked June. It was
June
nice.
was great. I know that June, from what a lot of the locals say, June does open up more of a rain chance. I guess it's rainy down there in June. But when we went for the doubleheader weekend in the middle of June, that was when it
beautiful.
was 70 degrees and breezy and cloudy all weekend. And it was, I looked at you every day. I was like, this is perfect. This is wonderful.
Yeah. He also asks, I got Michigan coming up soon. That's going to be a good one. Any good merch I need to keep a lookout for?
It can't be June 23rd because that's a Monday. So
If you're a Hendrick fan, go to the Holler and check out their limited edition hats. The one they did for Pocono
wanted to
was
like it.
cool.
I wanted to like it, and I knew if I bought it, it would be something I'd never wear. So
it's just not my colors. Yeah.
The logo was sick, but yeah, they do a thing every track. Like Iowa, they had the corn numbers. Daytona was the floral or the tropical print. You know, they do something for every race.
Yeah, the Daytona ones are good. Your Steph has one.
Steph has the Bowman one.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that one was sweet.
Any merch to? Did he say like official merch or?
No, that was just generic. I always collect
NASCAR
the race
Classics.
pins. Yeah, absolutely go to the NASCAR Classics Holler. No brainer. Best shit in the whole merch
We
area.
have been to 4 races this year, and every single race they've had something new. They had like Terry hats.
Yeah, it's
at
bullshit
Pocono.
because every single time I buy something new.
They literally we've been to 4 races this year with a couple months in between each one.
Oh, I didn't buy myself anything at that one.
No, you didn't.
Now I did buy stuff there because
Yeah,
I bought
but
gifts.
every single time we go, it's never like they have a lot of the same stuff, but they've added new stuff
every single time.
every single time this year. So
The Liquid Death shirt, sick.
that was sick.
Yeah.
You bought that for yourself.
No, I bought it for Steph.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you got options. Sam tries his best. Going to Indy this weekend. Jealous.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Haven't been to a race in years. Suggestions. Get there
Get
early.
there early. I bet you the opening ceremony is going to be sick for that race.
Just get there early.
No idea how many people are going to be there, though.
Indy is very well. I mean, think about it. They do the 500. So if there's a track that's going to be well set up for a massive crowd,
No, I'm sorry. I was going to elaborate. I should have.
Yes.
Get there early, and if you haven't been in years, go cruise around the fan zone.
Yep.
Check out all that shit because it goes fast, and then all of a sudden it's opening ceremonies and you miss it. Like,
Yep.
get there early. Get the merch haulers out of the way. Cruise around the fan zone. Check it all out. Find your seats, and
it's
then
crazy. You're right. It's crazy how fast the day goes. Like we said it Sunday during the Cup race. I was like, or before the Cup race, I was like, I feel like we just got here and we're leaving in 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we just set the camper up and the weekend's already over. So the days, the weekends, however long you're going, goes in a flash.
get there early so you don't leave there going, I wish I went over there.
Yep.
See everything you want to see, and if you got an hour still to kill and you've seen everything you want, great. Go get some food, sit in your seat, and relax. Get
I'm
ready
also
for
really
opening
jealous
ceremonies.
because that's definitely a bucket list.
Well, especially
track
this year
to go to.
because of with it being the 30th anniversary and all of the retro logos. I bet you the merch is going to be fire.
Yeah. Cohan 21N with a response of a photo. I don't.
No.
What?
Is it? Never mind.
No. It just says, one hell of a time, boys. Best weekend of the year, every year. Love you all so much.
Stop it.
I love this kid. I mean,
Oh, you got another one. One hell of a time, boys. Best weekend of the year, every year. Love you all so much.
so he posted it twice.
He's got another one. What does this other one say? The picture's so small. Oh, okay. I got it. One hell of a time, boys. Best weekend of the year. No, he literally did it 4 times.
Was it all the same picture?
Yeah.
Oh, is it the selfie?
I don't think it was working.
Is it the rain selfie when his phone
Yeah.
is like you can't see anything because it's in the middle of the storm?
Yeah. So
He posted that last night in the group chat, and I was like, "Oh my god, I remember you taking that." He goes, "My phone was totaled at that point."
yeah, it was. So he posted it 3 times. Clearly, something was going on with his phone or service or whatever. Because he texted me. He's like, "Did you
Sorry.
get it?"
Yeah,
I got a couple times, brother.
Like we've said, those guys have that whole group has just become like we went down there a couple years ago, and I knew Cohan and DeBarro from iRacing. Then we meet the rest of their group. You know, you meet Cody, who wasn't there this year, who's there in spirit. We had his cardboard cutout.
We
there
did,
all
yeah.
That
weekend.
was so funny when we got there. And
Yeah.
Ant had got a custom. Our buddy Cody goes every year, Cody Labar, and he
Just had a child.
Just had a baby 2 weeks ago. So he unfortunately did not make it. So Ant got a life-size cardboard cutout made of Cody.
Yep.
And just had it propped up all over the campsite all
There was
weekend.
a hot dog in his mouth. At
They
one
were-
point, they put him
When
in
the
the porta potty.
The rainstorm hit. The first thing they did was stick him up into the easy up
Yeah.
to save him.
Yeah, the best was when they stuffed him in the porta potty, and then I think someone took the video of Murph, or Murph took a video of him like walking up the porta potty. He's like, "Oh, sorry, Cody, my bad." Like he opens the door,
know you were in
like, but all that whole crew, Murph
Yeah.
and DeBarros, I don't even remember her name because I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible. They are awesome.
Antoinette.
Sure,
Oh, Jesus.
so, but that whole crew,
All of
people
them are
is
fucking awesome.
And, like we all become like we each kind of hang out sometimes in our own sites, but then like we'll come together for food or the
And
fire.
Joe
or,
mentioned it a little bit earlier, talking about the PA guys. Give them the shout out. Where is it?
right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ace. Ace is the nicest fucking dude.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to Ace and his
Nick.
crew. Never met any of those guys. Never had an interaction with them, and they had full blown conversations with me throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, their buddies Mike, CJ and his brother,
CJ
who
and
I
his
think
brother.
is also called Mike. I could be wrong. Those guys are great. Everyone is awesome. Obviously, Joe Soul, met him a few years ago. He comes over and hangs out every year. Just Bus.
Yep.
He
And
comes
his-
out. Freaking average Joe drove up for one night of hell.
Tried to kill us.
Slept in his car.
Yeah, he said that.
Oh, I thought he was staying
No,
with.
He slept in his
No,
truck.
he like
Just
parked
Bus.
his truck in Just Bus's camp spot, like
And
with
then-
their cars,
and just slept in the truck.
I think he got like one of those air mattresses that goes on the back seat. And he
Oh,
was
yeah,
like-
that's cool.
No, he was like, "Do not recommend." Sunday morning, he's like, "I slept like shit." He's like, "Unless you're if you're under 5 feet, it might be might
Yeah, I think might get away with it just based on my size.
You can
weight
fold up. We
wise.
can fold you up pretty
I
small.
curl up a lot when I sleep, so
Yeah.
I might be okay. But yeah, they're probably not great. But yeah, love you too, brother. Look forward to it every year. Downriver Diecast. What track is next for the boys? Maybe Roval.
Tentatively, maybe.
Tentatively, possibly, maybe. We'll see how that goes. But
have-
I don't
It's
even
just
want to
that-
think about that right now because I'm still tired. My voice still is not great.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a week to recover. So
We got
I
a
don't
long
wanna think
way to
about
go because that's in October. So
it. Yeah. What was your favorite setup that someone had in the infield?
ooh, there were some good ones.
Not this year in comparison.
I mean, the pontoon
Newell.
boat. The pontoon boat top wasn't there. The Newell wasn't there.
Yeah, like our favorites that we were looking for weren't there.
Yeah.
The Kyle Busch bus, just because
The Kyle Busch bus
I want
rules.
to recreate it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
KFB squad. I'll give it to them.
There was one I saw when we were leaving because you probably couldn't see it before the place was empty.
The other bus that had all the flames on it.
No, I didn't see that. There was an old camper, much like Ace's, on a fence line spot, but they parallel parked it against the fence, and they still had, there was like the skeleton of a pop-up up there, and all the chairs were still on the roof. So like they were sitting basically at the top of the fence level, right at the fence line,
that's
so they could
sick.
look down the whole long pond. It was actually pretty sick. I
that's
was
a
like,
good
that's
spot.
a cool spot. We didn't venture into turn 3 this year. Yeah, I mean, that KFB bus is awesome. It's an old school bus. The entire roof is a platform.
They did
It-
karaoke on the roof.
Yeah, the first time we saw it, it was painted up like when he was with the 18 car, and they've since repainted it to have all the 8 stuff on it. says KFB on the front of it. All their shit. They have like matching shirts. Their cornhole boards match the bus. Like, they go all out.
Yeah, theirs is sick.
Yeah, there's another bus in turn 3. I didn't see him this year, but it was all the Clint Boyer stuff.
Yep.
They've popped up a couple times.
Yeah. And then the final comment was about the lead singer of Steal the Sky.
She was everybody's favorite. Average Joe was all excited. He found her Instagram yesterday. I was like, Ronan found it Sunday morning.
It has been found.
Yeah.
And that
In my defense, I was looking for it for Cohen.
He was, because you were very excited. You ran over to Cohen. You're like, I found it. And he was like, yes, he was all excited.
Yeah. And that.
Oh, Justin, did you see that?
What?
Asking about the setups. Did you see the picture Just Bus put up of the dude sitting on top of like a
A-frame ladder in the bed of his truck?
Bro.
Yeah.
That was giving me anxiety, and I didn't even see it. He had like an 8-foot ladder in the back of his truck, and he just set it up and was just sitting on the top step, just sitting there watching the race. I'm like, dude, strong enough gust to win. That thing's going over. Like, long gone.
Not that we haven't done similarly sketchy.
Ours was we climbed up a 6-foot ladder and then had to make the leap of faith onto my old roof. Is that
I think
worse?
just sitting there like constantly is worse.
Yeah, is that worse or better than the ladder that's on my current camper?
It's fine.
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
Oh, the truck bed was way worse.
Yeah, that was sketchy.
Way worse.
And what was it up? The up wasn't bad. It was the down.
The down.
Because you had
Making
to,
the transition.
You had to make the transition. You had to put like one foot on the ladder and then do like the leap of faith over to it. Oh, it was not fun.
I don't do the heights.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
I just remember we were sitting there watching the race, and Steph climbs into the bed of your truck, climbs up your ladder, looks at the camper, and goes, I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah, she stood
And
on the
just
ladder
stood
for
on
like
the
10
ladder
laps.
with like head level at the top of it and just watched cars go by.
See, the saving grace for me on your camper is when you sit on the edge, you have the pop out at the side to rest your feet
Me
on.
and Kyle figured that out last year. It was wonderful.
So you just feel so much more grounded and safe on it.
Yeah, me and Kyle did that last year, and we both went, this is the spot.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
the
good.
move.
Yeah.
Although I was sitting there with my feet dangling off for the hauler parade, and it wasn't too bad either.
I like the end. Like just go up the ladder, sit on my butt.
Yep.
Feet dangling. I like that one too. But that does it for the questions and for yet another episode of the Loose is Fast podcast. Thank you all for tuning in to our For the Fans, By the Fans episode.
Yes.
If you made it this far, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we had
a great time.
Rumors of us not having a live stream next week, but that's up in the air. So
we're doing some work on the studio. So if we are not live next week, sorry.
Oh, we have a question for Ronan.
Yeah, Brian wants to know how far away I live from Limerick. About an hour.
There you go.
Now, saying that, Ireland is an awful lot smaller because how long did it take us to go to Pocono?
5.5.
5.
That is the length of Ireland.
Yeah,
well,
so
it is and it isn't. You could go from where I live, you could drive to Belfast, which is technically a different country, in 4 hours. You could also turn around and drive 4 hours the other way and you're still in the same county.
Yeah. So for you guys, it was quick. I know from my house, it said if I was driving normally, it was 5.5. It took us about 6.5 both ways. So just slow,
We're just
slow
about
moving.
5.5, even with the stop.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, upcoming weekend, the Brickyard's gonna be a doozy. We'll see what we get.
I think we're going to see probably a similar race to what we just saw at Pocono. It's probably going to turn into fuel mileage, but I'm happy we have an old crown jewel back because it just didn't feel the same. Like they talked about on DBC when Briscoe won the Xfinity race there like a couple years ago. He was like, I've always wanted to win an Indy, but
AJ said the same thing
in the
when he won
back of his
Cup
head. He's
race.
like, this isn't what I wanted though. When I said I'll win an Indy, like,
Yeah.
we're back on the big track. I kind of wish Xfinity was at IRP with the trucks because that would have been an awesome race, I think.
Yeah.
I know the Xfinity cars are running the super speedway package there. So we'll see how that goes. But they were saying that another scheduling little bit of blunder by NASCAR. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
That cup practice and truck practice are at the exact same time at 2 different tracks in the same state.
Yeah.
So like Freddie, who does all 3 of them, he's like, I don't know.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
Absolutely stupid. So, and there's some people doing double duties that are going to be rushing in between. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Dude.
So I'm excited.
Yeah. So, thank you for tuning in. Follow us on everything. We appreciate you.
Yep. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Share Norm's image.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Follow us at @loosesfast_pod on Instagram and Twitter, and the Looses Fast podcast on YouTube.
I'm Kyle Belcher.
I'm Dan Walker.
Norm Pelletier.
I'm Ronan Hickey, and in the words of Grease Up Deaf Guy, see y'all next year.
That's my boy right there, son.